Hello.
When's the last time all four of us was on the stream together?
Oh, that's been a lot while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It would have been Crime Watch. It would have been Crime Watch. We've done that raid.
Crime Watch. So, how you all been today? You all good?
Is that a genuine question?
Yeah.
It's been an emotional day for me, but glad to be here. Do my first stream in what feels like forever with three of my good friends. So yeah, looking forward to it.
How long has it been since you did a stream?
I haven't done one this year.
Oh wow, is that long?
Wow.
And as everyone's seen, this is no longer the shed. I have had a change of circumstance. So
you won the lottery.
Yeah, and I bought a massive farmhouse and fucked her off. Come and live here. So,
good luck.
Yeah, you've had an upgrade.
Yeah,
yeah, I have had an upgrade actually. Yeah, 100%. If you know, you know.
Yeah. So, what's everyone drinking tonight? I've got a bit of amaretto and Coke on the go. What about you guys? No.
Well, I'll go next and see someone else. I'm really getting back to basics. I've got a Stella Artois pint glass with a little bit of red wine in.
Right.
And I'm drinking the Ghost Ship.
Okay. Yeah. What's that like? I haven't tried that.
It's really nice.
Is it?
Yeah, good stuff. And it's brewed locally to where I live, so
strong.
It is 4.5%.
Oh, okay. So a nice one.
Yeah.
What are you on there, chef? Is it the hard stuff, the tea?
The tea. I got work tomorrow. Can I just say? I thought Scott Sim. Oh, shit. About to say what? What's that? The goat shit.
Oh, God, look, how far are we in? He's already swearing. Look at him.
Sorry.
No, you're all right. I was joking. Wasn't serious.
You see, I put lock up your nan's balls here.
Yeah.
you.
Me? What
Sorry.
Yeah,
Bless your nana.
We got you star in the chat at the moment. How you doing, Alex? You good? I know he's been watching the films because he's been telling us, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So I suppose we better address it right at the start before someone decides at some point in the chat to start putting spoilers in. Right, guys, we are talking about the Alien franchise. We are going to be lightly touching on the upcoming Alien Romulus, but no spoilers. So if you are in the chat, do not put anything in the chat and ruin it for other people, because I was a little naive the other day and made a mistake in the WhatsApp group. Yeah. I was a little naive the other day, made a mistake in the WhatsApp group and ruined it for a couple of people. I thought it was fairly commonplace because it had been ruined in all the TV spots, etc. But turns out some people have been avoiding them. So yeah, like I say, no spoilers, people in the chat. If you know something that's not common knowledge, keep it to yourself. This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, like...
Well, I can't give away any spoilers, but hopefully, like, everyone's got to have seen Aliens, Alien 3. Like, if you haven't seen them, then this is probably not the stream for you.
Well, not being funny, but they are like, what? I mean, the fourth one's, 20 years old now? Like,
exactly.
Like, really, have you?
Like,
you know?
I just hope some of you like jog my memory about what happens, because I've only managed to watch 1, 2, and 3, and even 3 I only got halfway through. I've been trying to watch them in time for watching the new film.
I'll be honest. I've been watching them again, but I didn't watch the fourth one because, if I'm honest, we'll get to it. But yeah, one thing I was going to ask you guys: are you looking forward to Alien Romulus, all of you? Or
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Lee.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping we get a smasher because we've had so many,
poor ones, yeah.
Yeah.
You can say it.
Yeah, we've had some poor ones. I mean, even some of the games have been pretty poor as well. Other than Isolation.
Alien Trilogy, come on, let's be honest.
Isolation is proper. That's a good one. I enjoyed that. Yeah, hopefully this will spur to more movies.
I didn't even enjoy that fire team that much. I don't like it when you've got other people in your team. I just want to be me. I can't be asked to tell other people what to do.
It's a bit of a buggy game that though as well, isn't it? Fire team. There's a few issues with it. Yeah.
If you remember when Colonial Wars was coming out, I was so hyped.
Yeah,
The idea that
problems too. Yeah.
Yeah, but the idea that it's hype, that it's they go to the Sulaco and all
The
that.
enemy AI
yeah.
is just terrible in that game.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
But, can I just add, although I look forward to the film, also there's a TV series coming out as well.
Yes.
Yes.
I think the filming for that's just finished, so
Yeah.
that sounds like it's quite interesting. It might be on Netflix or Amazon or something like that.
Yeah, I've been reading a little bit about that, but again, I've been trying to sort of stay away from that as well because, and this is one of the things I just wanted to briefly touch on, is that they are showing way too much, especially for this film.
Yes,
like,
we should.
And the thing is, there's so much of it that you haven't even got to be looking for it. I mean, it just comes up everywhere. Like you just go
on the Facebook groups. Like all aliens ones that I'm on, like because I'm sad like that. But I've had to leave them because I didn't want any spoilers.
Well, the latest TV spot they dropped, which was yesterday, I think it was. Again, that one had about 3 or 4 new clips in it, and it's like, my God, like, I feel like I've seen half the film now. Like, you know.
Do you know what I think? This is how I see it. Just me being like soppy. I think they're trying to get everyone back on board. So they're probably trying to show you so much of it to kind of make people think, you know what, we'll go cinema, because you need to remember as well, because there's so many streaming channels. I know Aliens is in the cinema, but what I mean is they want to get as much money in the box office. Hence why they're probably pushing it a bit more than they probably would do and showing a bit more.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
You know?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Ridley Scott did his damage, didn't he? And, you know, they know full well that they've got to try and win people's trust again. This is what it is. Yeah, without a doubt. Definitely. That's exactly what's going on here.
I've got no issues. I know this. I've said it all along. Since the director was announced, I knew this was going to be a good film. Because this director, mark my words, he does not make a bad film. And
I started watching one of his films the other day, actually. Because I went to see Romulus was on the Plex, and then it's like other films by the same director. And I started watching on it, and it's been, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a horror, and it's been absolutely superb so far.
Yeah, he's a director that builds tension and keeps you on the edge of your seat. So that's what you want for an alien film, isn't it?
He knows puts a twist in as well, which...
Oh, yeah.
The problem is, the thing is, you can have a good director, but what you got to remember is Disney's in the mix here as well. Like sometimes just having a good director don't always make a good film, especially if Disney's involved. So that's the thing for me. It's whether he allows them to interfere, isn't it? That's the thing.
What I will say is what I like so far. I've only seen little bits I've been trying to keep clear. Is like the idea that the pulse rifle is in this movie, but in a not the full pulse rifle, which is in Aliens.
It's a prototype, isn't it?
So that's why it's like, you know, like those little nods, because they never had it in the first movie, obviously. So that's what I like. I think I like the idea of them doing that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, like they've kept it in like a timeline. Do you know what I mean? Like,
made
it obvious, like things like that between Alien and Aliens, like
you can see just by what I mean. Other than the fact that obviously the director made it quite clear, you know, that's one of the things that everyone does know, that you know that was his plan all along. But yeah, they do seem to have done a good job of continuity, how it looks. I mean, one of the problems with Prometheus, for example, and I'm not going to dwell on it too much here, but was that it all looked too new compared to what we saw in Alien, for example, and it's meant to be before that, isn't it? So
correct.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Alien was always meant to be big buttons, tactiles, you know, CRT TV sort of look, wasn't it? It wasn't meant to be, you know, holographic displays like you saw in Prometheus. So
it's like in isolation, the graphics, the setting of the game. I just love how they've made it like Alien. Like it just looks exactly how the film was. You know what I mean? Like even the CRT screens and stuff like that. It's just I love what
it's also the weapons pool as well.
Yeah, like the flamethrower.
You know, like you've got the basic weapons. You haven't got anything pulse rifle-y. You've got like the little, I think it's like a Magnum handgun sort of thing, and nothing really third generation or future generations, if you will.
Which makes sense because it's Ellen Ripley's daughter, isn't it? So,
yes.
And she's already dead by the start of Aliens. So
which is cool when you think about it.
I think I heard somewhere that this one I think is meant to be set 20 years maybe after.
Well, Aliens is 57 years.
Yeah, I think
Well,
it's meant to be 20 years. I think after Alien. I think that's what I heard. So,
Aliens is nearly 100 years later. Not 100.
57.
57.
It's really hard to say for 57 years.
yeah. So then
if
if the timeline is what it sounds like, this will be 37 years before then, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
well, this might answer a few questions to aliens, like why they're sending colonial marines. You know, they've lost contact, and I don't know. There might be like a little nod to the the reason why they go there. They go to have
Right. I think we should move off this subject.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I know stuff and I don't want to give anything away. So let's not talk about it. Right? No, I'm not good at it. That's what I'm saying. Let's move on. Right. Okay. Hang on. Let's just look at who's in the chat because I've just noticed that Rob's here as well. Hello, mate. How you doing? Alien 4 is a guilty pleasure. I like a lot of the characters. Plus the Joss Whedon dialogue was pretty funny. Yeah, well, we're going to try and get through all of them if we can. I mean, we're going to have to be pretty quick, I think, on each bit. But I think, if I'm honest, I think Alien 3 is probably going to be where we talk quite a bit because there was a lot went on. And I know Paul knows what went on because he watched the same things that I did. So I know he's got a very good idea of what happened with Alien 3.
Yes. No, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, let's start where it all begun then. Alien, 1979. Obviously Ridley Scott. Who the bloody hell's Rusty? It's going to be Chef.
It's going to be Chef.
Fucking hell's sake!
Can you not press the mute button when you do it?
Yeah, push the mute
going
button.
through his wallet.
He never does this on the swap shop. There's none of this amateur behaviour on the swap shop.
It's like a fat kid in a candy
Speaking of which,
store.
where is this?
Don't call me fat. I've just been on holiday and I've got loads of chocolate from the old duty free and I'm trying to go through it slowly.
Everyone else buys cigarettes and alcohol. You buy chocolate. I mean, that's everything.
You do realise how
What's that?
You do understand how a microphone works, Jeff, right? You know, when you've got a mic on, it records all the sound. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I don't know how good this headset was, right? It's all obviously very good, so I'm not going to start taking my trousers off like forward. But anyway,
moving on.
Let me mute this then while I rustle around.
Yeah, good idea. There you go. So he could have just done that, couldn't he? Anyway, as I was saying, from one horror story to another, there's my segue. So, Alien, yeah, as we know, Ridley Scott, 1979. Obviously, later editions that Ridley Scott did weren't so great, but this one was obviously great because this is what started it all. A great cast. Really, at the time, I suppose a lot of them were kind of unknown. And a genius story, really, in a lot of ways. Very different to anything else that had been done around the time.
Well, there was major concerns, wasn't there? Like, this is just not going to work. Like, this is going to bomb big time.
Well, the thing is, I can kind of get why, because do you know the screenplay? The screenplay that they were showing to all the people to get funding and that was named Star Beast, wasn't it? I can kind of see why people probably thought it was going to be.
Sounds
crap.
like an interstellar paedophile.
Oh my god! Jesus Christ!
and the fact that they had H.R. Giger, who is a very controversial artist, very sexual artist, involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, Christ, do you need any more references to phalluses and vaginas?
That's fucking brilliant, man.
He's literally everywhere, isn't it? Like, you know, yeah.
But then they're saying, "Yeah, we're going to call it Space Beast."
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing with this film, I mean, they say with this film, like, I think the whole reason why and if you haven't seen Alien, I'm about to spoil it, but you've got no excuse because it's like, what, over 40 years old now. So, like, you know, but this is the reason why your main character, the hero, is a female, because when you look at this film, there's a lot of things in here that's designed to creep us men out. right? And when I say that, I'm on about, for example, when you look at the face hugger, for example, and what it does to the host. I mean, effectively, it's, and you can't say the word on here, so I'm going to have to be careful.
Right? Was it?
It basically assaults the person it's doing it to, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, but the word I would have used, I'll put a G in front of it, it grapes them, doesn't it? Let's be honest, right? That's what it does. And so the film is designed kind of to freak out men, probably more so than women.
Why are they meant to be used to that? Like, I don't know if I agree with that.
No. But what I'm saying is,
all the time.
What I'm trying to say to you is, it's a man it happens to, isn't it? It's not a woman it happens to. That's what I'm saying. You're effectively seeing a man get graped, yeah, on film. That's effectively what's happening. And then of course, obviously, it bursts out of his chest. So I think the whole point of the story, this is why the hero, they picked a woman as the hero, was because it was really made to freak men out, I think, more than women, if I'm honest. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I think that more men go to the cinema anyway, so I don't think like it would. I don't want to come across, but back in the 70s or early 80s, I would have said that this is more of a film that a bloke would want to go and see anyway.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So then they would be catering to freak a man out. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the originality, you've got to remember, back in 1979, science fiction wasn't horror as such.
Exactly.
One of the first things.
Was Star Wars? When was Star Wars? Was that 79?
77.
No, it was 77.
77. Yeah.
But you've got to remember, like a lot of Star Wars, a lot of sci-fi had nothing to do. It didn't cross genre. It wasn't horror. This was the first horror sci-fi film.
Yeah.
Maybe Forbidden Planet. Like that was a little bit. I was a bit spooked out by that when I was a kid.
What was that? Sorry, Paul. What was that?
Remember Forbidden Planet with Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah, they touched on it, didn't they?
A little bit, but like it's just like stepped it up to the next level. It was a horror film set in space, like really.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget also. I mean, with this film, this spawned a lot of other types of films like that. I mean, there was plenty of films that came afterwards that tried to copy it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, I think this has got to be one of the first ones to do it, hasn't it?
It's definitely the most memorable one for me, anyway. Like,
yeah.
Well, you've got to remember at the time in the 70s, you had the slasher film then hitting. You had Halloween, you had Friday the 13th in 80. The slasher sort of film was coming on, and so you got the slasher sort of elements as well to Alien. It's not just horror. They're being stalked, they're being hunted, not by a human, but by an alien. It's all
sounds like Predator.
Well, yeah.
Well, that was why they crossed them over like they did, I suppose, because they worked so well together. But
they really do.
But there's a few things that I didn't realise that I actually found out just recently. Actually, I saw a deleted scene where Brett's fate was very different, and this has got nothing to do with where she sees him being morphed into an egg, which of course was a scene that was cut out.
Yeah.
But how he died before that in the original script was very different. He had his head crushed by the xenomorph. That was how he was supposed to die. It was meant to be a lot more graphic than it ended up being, which is hard to believe.
It was budget, a lot of it.
Yeah.
I've heard about the egg morphing one because isn't like
I've seen it. It's on the director's cut
because of Alien 3, and like certain versions of that, like, well, where did the egg come from? Did the queen lay it or whatever? And I don't know. Someone like I read something about someone trying to explain what happened there because of that deleted scene.
So obviously with Alien, what originally was going to be done is it was meant to be that Brett was being morphed into an egg. Now, I've heard the thing is when you see the scene, it looks like the same thing's happening to Dallas, but I've heard other people say, no, that's not what's happening. Brett's being morphed, and when the facehugger jumps out, Dallas is the next host. So there's two different ideas of what they were going to do there, but you can clearly see that Brett is becoming an egg, and it does look like Dallas is, but, because he tells Ripley to kill him in the deleted scene.
Yeah.
So... But yeah,
because apparently, depending on what's required, whether it's like a queen or whatever, then it can like recreate the egg to make that. Like, it doesn't have to be a queen. So obviously something has to make the queen, and like it's in that book, the one I'm reading about Bishop, where Bishop gets like reactivated, so you can download his files, so these guys can learn about like alien technology and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
They went with it a bit in the book, and it was really interesting. Definitely
Yeah.
worth. If anyone's an Aliens fan, the book about Bishop is definitely worth a read. I think it's only like 10 quid, and it's absolutely superb. I've loved it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of things that would have been very different. I mean, for example, as we get on further into the film, obviously we already touched on Dallas, like what his fate would have been. But Lambert's there was lots of ideas thrown around about Lambert. So one of the ideas was that she was going to be, she was going to hide in a locker. And it's funny because this ended up in the isolation game. She was going to hide in a locker and basically die of fright because the alien's stalking her while she's in the locker, right? Anyway, let me add this bloody ruffian into the stream again.
Sorry,
Stop.
my
Around.
I don't like being up here. I'm scared of heights.
So that was one idea they had for Lambert, but another idea they had was that someone turned around and said that one of the ideas they wanted to use was where she got sucked out through a very small hole in the hull, which is funny because they later reused that in Alien 4 or Alien Resurrection with the newborn.
I've just had a bit of a flashback to something I saw in Iraq, actually. I saw something like, the aftermath of something like that in Iraq, and it's not pretty, by the way.
Yeah.
Uranium rounds, you don't want to get hit by one of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just having a bit of PTSD.
So yeah, basically that was the idea, but apparently it got scrapped because one, it was too gory, and two, a lot like basically experts said it didn't make much sense. It was too small a hole; it wouldn't work. Of course, that didn't matter. They did it in Alien Resurrection anyway. But yeah, that was one of the other ideas they had for her. I'm glad they used the one that they did use in the end because let's be honest, we don't actually know what happened to her. We can guess. And actually, I think that's what makes that death so bad. The fact that you hear it and you see that tail going somewhere. It's the fact that you don't actually know, innit? That's, I mean, the noises that you hear when it attacks her, I mean, it does make your imagination go to them places, don't it? It's very well done.
So is that aimed for the male audience as well? Just saying.
Well, who knows?
What I would say about Alien, what I always was fascinated to me, because my dad went. I mean, obviously, I wasn't born in '79. Yeah, I was born in '79.
All right.
Right. So obviously, I didn't see it when
millennial.
He's the only one.
So I actually saw Aliens first, and then I went back because I think my brother, my big brother, watched Aliens, and we went back. And then anyway, what I found about Alien was what always, still to this day, astonishes me, and it's what kind of Rob said there is yes, I saw Star Wars and stuff, but it was the atmosphere and the set design and the whole idea behind it. Just really, when I was a kid, really got to me. I was just like, where the hell has this come from? This idea of this. And then you had the lady as the main, Ripley as your protagonist in the movie, which still not today, but even then you thought, well, that's a bit weird, because obviously, like Scott said, you had all the 70s, Bronson, Eastwood, all the big films were all male driven. But then
sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, even though you had Sigourney Weaver, who wasn't massively known then, you had some real good, strong actors with her, male actors, real strong ones. John Hurt.
But they weren't very well known then, though, was they?
Compared to her, yes, they was well known compared to her, but not well known. I just thought it was. When you think about it now it's very blasé, but that was a bold move to make that film in the way they did. They must have went out on a limb, and they must have begged and pleaded to make that movie. When you think about it, back then, compared to now. You see all sorts of
I
movies.
think
with
why they
women.
brought into it though, Chef,
Go on.
is because the progression of Ripley's character. She goes from
Yeah.
someone that no one takes seriously. They literally take the piss out of her.
She gets left behind.
She's the only one. At the end of the day, if they had listened to her right at the start of the film and quarantined them,
Yeah.
then none of the film would have happened. And you know, you're seeing her.
It's a good job she didn't then.
Yeah. But you're seeing her
The end.
character develop.
The end.
Her
I'm
inner
sorry.
strength comes out when she's faced with what she's faced with. You know, that's what makes that film fantastic.
Can you name
Well,
another
did anybody watch my video about why I love Ripley? Because literally
Yes.
what you just said is exactly what I said
Oh,
in
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Don't spoil it, you know, link it. Do the little. Who else? What other franchise has a lady character that has the same progression?
Sarah Connor, Terminator.
Sarah Connor,
Yeah.
Sarah Connor.
I know her one's a bit. Would you say her one's a bit more? I don't know because it's an alien, isn't it? I mean, but it's like it's very. Yeah, it's
Hers is less believable.
Whose?
I think Sarah Connor's is a big jump, whereas we are on the journey with Ripley.
Correct. Yeah,
Whereas with
definitely.
Sarah Connor, the second film comes along and she's this badass.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we watch Ripley become a badass.
definitely,
throughout.
definitely.
So one thing when I was talking about Lambert and what happened to Lambert, there was actually meant to be a different death for Parker as well. So apparently what was originally meant to happen is that the alien picks up Parker and Lambert's got a flamethrower. And basically it uses Parker as a shield. And so it's holding him, and so she won't fire. And he's telling her just to fire. And it then takes a bite out of Parker's shoulder. And at that point, Parker screams at her and says, just shoot. And she does.
Yeah.
And then it drops him and goes for Lambert. And so he's on the floor, just burning alive. So again, a lot more gruesome.
That's going to really ruin your day.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a few differences there. I've got to be honest, I think I'm happy with what we got. Like I say, I don't think you could have really done a better job than what we got. I think Alien is perfect in so many ways.
How long is the director's cut? Because Alien's quite a long film, isn't it?
Oh God, I can't remember now.
But I'm sure they've done the original cut when the finish was like 2.5 to 3 hours long, and that it's just ridiculous.
I don't know about Alien, but I know that there was a cut apparently of Alien 3 that would have been 3 hours. I know that. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I don't know about Alien, but there was that for Alien 3. I'm sure it was Alien 3. So, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, even when I've watched the director's cut with the deleted scenes, there's a lot of stuff that's obviously mentioned here that never even made it to film. So, I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? Who knows?
All of what happened with Alien was to do with budget. It was a low budget film. Didn't have the budget of like a Star Wars or whatever else was at that time, and that's why they lent heavily on the slasher sort of emphasis of it, of keeping it in your imagination, keep you on the edge of your seat. A bit more Hitchcock direction.
For the lack of money, I just want to touch on what I was going to say before when he was speaking. Was a set design, because I just think it looks so good, and even
that's
when you think 1979. When I watched it back in 4K the other day, honestly, it looks, it's just amazing. It really is. I think it still looks just as good now. I really, really do.
Even the ships, don't it? Even the model ships and everything just looks so good in Alien. It's unbelievable.
The other thing with the film is it's and this is the thing, you won't hear me say this very often because these days I do think Ridley Scott's a bit of a hack these days. But there was a time when there was a time when he was very good, and you can see it in this film. I mean, I don't know if any of you notice it, because I know a lot of people that have watched Alien a lot of times and they've never noticed this. You know the part when he goes off to get the cat, when Brett goes off looking for the cat? Have you noticed the part where he walks into the room where the chains are?
Yeah.
And have you noticed that the alien is actually at the top of the chains?
Yes.
A lot of people don't notice that. They think he comes out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He's actually hanging right above him. He just doesn't know it.
It's because he closed his eyes, doesn't he, and let that water come down.
Yeah,
It's not
and it's a wide shot. That's how you know it's there. You see it on that wide shot. It's very well done.
Hmm.
It's
Actually,
go on, Paul.
go
Sorry,
on.
mate.
No, I was just going to quickly say, like, I did share a picture in the WhatsApp group, and it was like, does anyone recognize this? And it was a screenshot from Alien, and it's like a microphone that comes down, and
Yeah.
I put in, does anybody recognize what that is? Nobody answered.
That's a transformer, isn't it?
Yes. Fuck.
Yeah.
Boom.
I didn't
Which
see
one's
it.
going to be? It's a microphone.
It's sound.
I didn't see it. So was that Aliens or Alien that was in?
That's Aliens, I think.
Aliens.
It's
Right.
Soundwave. Yeah.
Soundwave.
It's actually a Soundwave transformer that will tape on to just look like a microphone. I just thought that was a brilliant piece of trivia.
I didn't see the picture actually.
Champion. Do you know what, Joel? I watched Alien last night, and what Champion 2D Rob's put in comments, I agree with. He's put about the scene with Dallas where Dallas gets killed.
Yeah.
I actually felt exactly the same. I thought that was a bit goofy, and that lingered.
The way it goes like that sort of thing. Yeah.
Stayed there for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like on what's it called, Shaun of the Dead, where they're like.
The thing is, I mean, if it was a more modern film, then you would have got too much though. So it would have gone either way, wouldn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when we get onto Aliens, obviously their approach to this was much better. So, yeah. What's this here? What's Alex put here? You know, in Alien, when they go into the alien ship, why didn't they just turn back and say, well, yeah. But then, you know, would have made the film a bit crap, wouldn't it? So, I mean, of course, the other thing that's going on in this film, let's quickly touch on this. And I am very aware of the times we've got a lot more films to get through. But obviously, there's also an underlying story of AI, I suppose, and technology as well, because let's just say it's not just the alien that's trying to screw them over; it's also a certain somebody else on the crew, isn't it? So, yeah. I mean, the part where Ripley's literally, she smells a rat with ash, doesn't she? And she can't quite put a finger on it, but she knows something's not quite right. And when she walks in the room and looks over his shoulder and he turns the screen off, you know, and then she starts asking sarcastic comments like, you know, what's Mother saying? Oh, we're still correlating, you know.
It's all because she was in command. She said not to let them in, and actually,
he opened the door.
That moment when he opened that door, she then felt that he had an ulterior motive.
Well, it's not just that either, is it? Because let's not forget he's a replacement for their normal science officer.
Yeah, they touch on that, don't they? Yeah.
So they don't know him. That's the other thing, isn't it? I mean, you've got somebody you don't know who's then ignored your order. I mean, that's going to make you start asking questions, isn't it? So, yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like you say, they do touch on that, but you don't, when you first watch it, you don't quite get the significance of that until obviously later on. And it's like, oh, I see. So,
there's something harrowing as well about that scene. And this is something that never really twigged with me until last night. Is, you know, the scene when Ash is trying to like suffocate her with that magazine.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that was a porno. That was a grot mag.
Yeah.
Because you see behind all the like naked women
stuck on the wall.
Mag up, he's like shoving it down her throat.
Well, did you know there's a part in that, right? So apparently they had some sort of issue when they were filming that scene. And there's a part where someone grabs him on, like, I forget his name, the guy who plays Ash. There's a part where someone grabbed his shoulder, and I forget why, but one of the crew grabbed his shoulder.
Yeah.
And you actually see him turn and look at him. That scene is still in the film. So when you think he's turning and looking at Parker and that, they're trying to stop him, he's actually looking at one of the crew. And that ended up, it's quite clever. Yeah, you'd never know that, would you? I found that really interesting.
You can see it's starting to malfunction somewhat, can't you?
Yeah.
It's a very unnerving scene. And what's really weird about how that whole bit plays out is that's probably the most horror you see, isn't it?
They always were a bit boogie.
Yeah. Well, with Alien, a lot of it is what you don't see in it. I mean, that's what makes it such a genius film, I suppose. It's the fact that you don't see a lot of it. And budget, But that's the thing, though. I mean, like, let's be honest. This
Sometimes
is
that's
why we
the
like
best.
all the older films. You
Yeah.
know, you saw less. You think about it with Jaws. I mean, you don't even see the shark for God knows how long. You know,
Yeah.
that's what makes it such a good film. You know.
And
So,
again, that was because the mechanics, the robotic shark, malfunctioned so much in the water that they had to improvise and think ahead. You know,
Yeah.
the shark was supposed to be in it a lot more than it was, but it was
Yeah.
only because they had run out of budget and it kept malfunctioning. Why it wasn't, and you know,
Yeah.
this is what makes great cinema. You know, great creative filmmakers will use what they got.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, Alex is just touching on what we was just saying. You know, like the sarcasm between
Yeah.
Ripley and Ash, and yeah, exactly. This is it. You do feel the tension. Like she
Yeah.
knows there's something wrong, but she just doesn't know what it is. You know.
There's so much depth to Alien, and I think that's underrated because the more you watch it, you genuinely do take something more from that film every time you watch it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very aware of time. So let's get on to the sequel because, of course, Alien was a very good film. So obviously it had a sequel. And that was Aliens. Took a little while, though, didn't it? When you look at how long it took for them to do it, I was surprised it took that long.
7 years, wasn't it?
Yeah. 86. Yeah.
Well, she was extremely busy.
The funny thing is, I actually watched Aliens before I saw Alien.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, it would have been the same for me as well. Yeah.
So we
And I've got to say, like, even with Aliens, I'm glad that they did it differently to the first one in the fact of the tone of it, because if they had retrod the same ground, I think we could have ended up with something similar to what we got with Alien 3. Whereas with what they did do, it was different, wasn't it? It was a sci-fi action horror. So, and I thought that was genius.
Show of hands, is it the best sequel ever made?
I don't know about best sequel ever.
Out of the films that we know that we like.
Close
I
Terminator 2.
can't say that's the best sequel ever made.
I don't know, because Empire Strikes Back for me, man.
Come on, Lee.
Sorry, it's a perfect film.
Do you know what's interesting for
But
me?
I'd say it's up there. He's up there. Probably number 2.
Well,
easily.
we live in a democracy. You've been outvoted, so it
did
is
outvote,
officially.
I don't care.
What I always found interesting is we all saw number 2 first, and I remember with my brother, and I was like, "Oh, what's number 1 like?" Is you just assume it's the same, innit? And he's like, "It's completely different," and I was like, "Huh?" He goes, "There's no guns in it." When as in bullets, if you know what I mean. He's like, "There's no guns in it," and I was like, "So what happens to the alien?" He goes, and then when you watch it, you understand it, but. This is such a shift, and like what Lee said is, if we didn't get this version of Aliens, I think we never would have got nothing else because it really did shift. They added so much more weight. Like Reebok were involved making the shoes. There were so many little things that were in it.
Yeah.
Because of the first film, the amount of weight it had now. James Cameron and the cast as well, and everything about it. It is interesting how different they are, but it's obviously still the same thing.
What I found clever about Aliens is you've got so many different characters, but he manages to give them all their own little bit of time.
Because that's how it is. Like all the Marines, like you get different jobs and all. Honestly, it's a really good representation. There was, I mean, I know Airport was actually in the US Marine Corps, but like
he was, yeah.
It's so realistic to how you've got like different little groups within like the platoon of people. It's so that is exactly how it is.
So what I meant was how he managed to actually get something out of each individual character in the film.
Oh yeah,
in the time constraint he had, because when you watch that, you quickly realise the different characters involved. Admittedly, there are people in the background you don't find much out about, but of course you later find out why you don't find out much. But I mean, you for example, you find out straight away that Hudson's the Joker, but also a bit of a whinger. Hicks is the guy that's like the quiet sort of, doesn't say much, but he's the hero, very stoic.
Well, he just gets it done, doesn't he?
Yeah. And then and then you've got Drake, who's like the ultimate sort of like I'll kick your face in sort of guy. Vasquez, who's a woman.
Please mention Vasquez because she's amazing. Have you
that's
ever been
the-
mistaken for a man? No. Have you?
That-
like, I mean,
do you know
That
what,
is
right?
the best comeback ever. That is,
It
isn't it?
is.
That scene, right? When I'm jumping ahead a bit, but that scene when she's standing there and she realizes something's happening and she goes, "Let's rock," and then just starts firing.
Yeah.
I get chills every time I watch that scene. Every time.
And of course, she's also in the second best sequel of all time. Is John Connor's stepmom.
Which
Yes.
blew my mind when I
Yeah.
found that out. I was just like, boom!
She's not even a Latina. She's not even
She's
Latina.
not even in just that sequel, you know. She's in Lethal Weapon 2 as well.
And she's in Total Recall. Predator 2, sorry.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's one of the police women.
She's in Predator 2.
The pregnant one. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. Sorry, Total Recall. I got confused then.
Hang on. Hey, what?
He meant Predator 2. He said Total Recall.
I meant Predator 2 and I said Total Recall instead.
Right. Okay. Hang on. Pregnant one?
No, that
Yeah.
isn't.
That's
That's
why
not her.
No, the woman in
Is it
Predator
not?
2 is the
That's a
woman
different
that is in
woman.
Total Recall, and she's also in The Running Man. I forgot her name.
I'm sure she's in Predator 2.
I
No.
thought that was her. Is it not her?
No.
Oh my god.
No, someone else.
These Latinos. I'm not going to see it.
But yeah, she is in quite a few sequels, funny enough, that are all pretty good actually. So it's
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it?
Fuck me,
She was in it. That's it,
Oh,
Rachel.
it's not.
That's it.
You're right. It's the Running Man
She
woman.
was in she was in a film I watched today, actually. An 80s film.
What's this here?
Oh, see, I thought she was in that.
James
I
Johnson.
genuinely
Rachel.
thought it was her.
Yeah, it's the
What's
woman
this, yeah?
from
Aliens director cut is the best. Oh, special edition. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
when you find out about Ripley's daughter and the auto firing cannons and
Well, you
You
also
know what? I
see
think that's one of the things with the director's cut, it adds flesh to the bone, doesn't it? Because
technically
one
it's
of the
not a
most-
director's cut. It's actually the special edition, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing
Who
is,
the
right,
director's cut, is there?
is
Sorry, mate.
is the thing is, right, is one of the most important factors, I think, what is so important to Ripley's character in Aliens is the fact that she's a mother.
I knew you were going
And the
to say
fact
that.
that she does everything she can to protect Newt because of the loss of her daughter. And the
Yeah.
fact that
100%.
was cut out of the original cut
It's a travesty.
and it was put in the special edition director's cut, whatever you want to call it. It added meat to the bone with the development of Ripley's character because you see her go from a weak laughed at woman in the first film to the heroine that is very strong by the end of that film. And then in Aliens, they're like, well, where are they going to develop her more? And her inner strength and how she develops as a woman is her maternal and mother instincts towards Newt. I think that is such a significant thing.
Can I just add something else on to what you were saying there? But it's not even just that, is it? Because at the end in the showdown, it's mother versus mother.
Exactly.
You know?
My point.
It's
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
she looks at the eggs. You know, when like she's going to do it and then she just goes.
It's just absolutely, yeah. It's just absolutely fantastic story writing,
Yeah.
character writing, whatever you want to call it. And this is what fails in cinema today, because they've written a female character that takes the strengths of a woman and makes it so different to the strengths of a man in an action film.
Yeah, if
And
you had
that
Arnold
is what makes
Schwarzenegger
that
playing the
work.
lead part in Aliens, it would not be as good. And I
No.
love his films.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
This comment here from James I find quite interesting. That the fact that in America they hated the way they were depicted. That's interesting. That.
Yeah, it's also quite a misconception that it's US Marines, whereas the not when you read the books and everything, it is like a collaboration of all different countries. You can join them from anywhere.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was getting confused with Near Dark because Near Dark has got Bishop, Hudson, and Vasco. I'm getting confused in all these films now. I was just
Just
checking.
comment. The Marines would be wearing pink if it was done these days. Yeah, probably.
Before
would.
I left my job, there was a Royal Navy commando with a fucking man bun, and I was just like, "Wow,
Yeah.
I've never seen a squaddy in my life with a man bun."
But
ran over.
Well, one of the things, like going back to what Rob was saying about the special edition, is obviously we get 17 minutes extra footage, and that really does add to the story. I think I really don't get for the life of me why they cut it out in the first place.
I can see why they cut some of it out. I thought some of it was a little bit too much.
Yeah, but hang on. No, one of the important parts that they cut out is that it makes it very clear that after Bert gets information from Ripley, he sends Newt's family off to that ship. You know, and that's the thing. Like, although you do figure that out in the theatrical version, I think it's better how it's done in the special edition.
Well, because she checks the log, doesn't she? And she says, "I know that you sent them out there."
Yes.
So so you do get it.
And also, you also feel for the people at Hadley's Hope Moor, because you've actually seen them little kids riding around on their bikes, and you know, now you've actually got faces to the people that's happened to. It carries more weight. I never understood why that version was not the one that everyone saw straight away.
I love the fact that the guy who was like in charge of Hadley's Hope, that they got him on Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf,
If you watch it, there is a couple of little references to Hadley's Hope in Red Dwarf when he's in it.
When he's talking about the cat.
That I love. Yeah.
Yeah, when he's talking about the cat, he's clear that he's referencing like aliens. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah. But it's you know, I do love that film. That initial part when they go in there, and it goes like it's quite a slow sort of build up.
Are we going to work through the film, like through the film, and just talk about our favorite bits or something, or?
Yeah, but I'm very.
What's your favorite part of the whole?
Yeah, but I'm also very. What I'm trying to do though, Paul, because we ain't got a lot of time. I mean, we're nearly an hour in. We're only on the second film.
I know. This is the best one.
I mean, the thing for me, the part I was just getting to was the part is quite a slow build up, but as they go into the building and to where all the people are, because they trace the trackers, don't they? And what I was just going to say there was that it's a slow build up, but man, does it all go to shit really quickly.
That first contact is absolutely superb and one of my favorite bits ever. And this is why when I bought that figure of Scott, it's like, it's just so amazing, because one of my favorite bits is where Hicks has got the shotgun and he's and boom, and he's like, eat this. Yeah. And he's like, it's just the fact that he has his shotgun and he keeps it for close encounters. And obviously, it's just like, I don't know, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's probably that bit in when they're taking off from LV-426 and you've got the music and you see that like the nuclear explosion go off and you just see that. I don't know. I just think that's just super, because you genuinely think that's the end of the film. Yeah.
It does lull you into a false sense of security there, doesn't it? Yeah. Which is kind of funny actually, because it kind of tricks you, because ultimately it's very similar to really what happens at the end of the first film in a lot of ways, obviously.
Yeah.
But they trick you by making you think it's ended, and then it's like, oh no, like there's this. you know, so
it always, when I used to play Resident Evil 2, you know, when you're trying to get out on the train, like, and you've got the countdown, like it sounds exactly like, it feels like Aliens, like when you've got like the countdown to get out of there.
Yeah. But I mean, again, similar to Alien, one of the bits I like when they're in the nest is that, you know, you hear screaming, like people being dragged away and shit, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
You just hear it. You know, like one of them.
Do you? Yeah.
No, like you'll have someone go, "Where's Frost?" or whatever, and you'll just hear this rah, like that, and they're just dragging them off in the background. You know.
D-tweak.
Yeah. It's madness, isn't it? And then of course, like you got people where one of them's flaming and then sets one of the other guys on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, although it's burnt,
isn't it?
I don't. Oh yeah, that's Drake, isn't it? But there's a bit when they're in the nest where one of them sets the other person on fire, isn't there? And he goes over the staircase.
Got the ammo as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they probably got the easy way out. If I'm honest, that's probably how I'd want to go. To be honest,
I think that might be Frost. I'm sure they give the ammo to Frost.
It might be. Yeah, it might
and he's
be.
got like the bag, hasn't he?
Yeah.
James Johnson, what he said in there about in the comments again about the Colonial Marines with the American flags on their shoulder. Something that I was thinking about when I was watching Aliens last night is do you think Burke deliberately picked a weak team?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Exactly. He wanted a weak team. He didn't want them to go in there and eradicate them all. He wanted to bring the alien back. So
When
it's
Gorman
only
mentioned-
second drop, isn't it? Gorman's only second drop.
That's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. That's when you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's when you know he's done it on purpose. Because
Yeah.
how can you have a guy that's that inexperienced running things?
The only
Like,
reason he wants
He wants to
Ripley there,
influence him.
the only reason he wants Ripley there is because she's the only one that really knows about it.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, although it's never said, the other reason is also because you can kind of kill two birds with one stone with her as well. Because you can kind of get rid of her as well, so that she can't tell anybody else as well, isn't it? That's the other thing, which of course he does try to do later in the film. But yeah, I mean,
I think that Champion 2D Rob's answer, we've just answered his question. Look what he's just put there. He's put the one plot critique was known that the place was being a thermal nuclear reactor. You'd think they'd have done their research. Yeah, they probably would have if there was a good team. But they're not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that gets me is that you also see a different side to the aliens here because they're obviously very intelligent. Because it's almost like they know that if they set up shop there, people can't come in and start shooting them.
To be fair, it's not even like anyone. It's not Burke or the Marines that actually bring that up. It's Ripley.
Yeah.
She's not in on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did Burke know? Like, would he have said something? Fuck knows. It genuinely seemed like they just didn't realise.
But it is, like I say, it is interesting that the aliens, it's almost like the aliens knew that people would come in there shooting. And that's why they decided to put themselves there.
Maybe,
you know?
Isn't it for the heat though? Because of like the warmth.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they never really say that, but I mean, yeah, you could be right.
I know it's like that with the Predator. Like they only come to Earth like when it's really hot years and stuff like that. So I don't know if it might be the same with it being the same universe.
One of the things you find out, in fact, there's even like throwaway lines in Alien as well, isn't there? Is that they can adapt to most atmospheres and most things. So I don't know. Is it about that? Who knows? It's hard to say, isn't it? Really. I mean, the thing is, Cameron did approach it from a different point of view. He did try and look at them more like insects, didn't he, with that film? You definitely get more of an insect vibe, not a biomechanical life form. You know?
It's definitely more the hive, isn't it? And
Yes.
Like wasps or I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, even the look of them, they look more like you say, a wasp or a beetle or something like that.
Well, they
so
say it,
than
don't they? The Marines say it. Are we on another bug hunt?
Bug hunt. That's right. Yeah.
So yeah.
But like the guy designed it. Is it Geiger?
H.R. Geiger.
I mean, the design of the aliens, the hive. That it's just like going back to Alien, the original one from 1979. It's absolutely superb. Like it's like, have you seen his other drawings that he's done? Like I think he'd done drawings for other films, but it never got picked up. They never got used.
Yeah.
He didn't he do Species? I think he had something to do with Species, didn't he?
That would make sense. When you think
I don't know, but it looks it. Yeah, you could be right.
The first one, I'm sure he had some input on that.
That was what I heard. They were drawn to the heat for their best. Nerdy Geezer makes a really good point there. Oh,
what I always found interesting as well, which is not mostly spoken about.
These things ain't ends.
Is the WW sorry, make sure channel, the secretion that is to make them stick to the wall. Where does that come from?
It's out of the anus.
Wait a minute. Because you're led to believe that all their fluids from their body, well, no, not all their fluids, but 90% of their fluids are acid.
Well, it's just their blood.
But when I spit on the floor, I don't spit out blood. I think it's just regurgitated.
Is that what you think?
I think
That's
so.
an interesting point.
I would say so.
When I do a massive lung spit on a morning, hopefully there's no blood in there.
I mean, to be fair, if I remember right, I know we're jumping ahead a little bit when I say this, and I really don't want to jump into the next film just yet. But if I remember right, isn't there? I watched Alien 3 yesterday, and there's a couple of scenes where it looks like the alien's actually trying to cocoon people at times, and it doesn't look like it looks like it's coming from its mouth or somewhere there. I would say.
I kind of hoping you were going to say it's arse, but okay, I'll sell
It could be the arse secretion.
Who knows?
Look at
I mean-
WTD Rob. He's on the
Probably
same
better not
wavelength as
knowing.
Paul.
Is he seeing us coming out of a toss?
Yeah, he
He's
is.
on the same wavelength as Paul.
In this world, they establish other life forms.
Yeah.
exist.
It comes from their bumley. Everyone knows that.
I'm voting for that. It gets my vote.
Yeah. Well, if it does, I mean, I'll see why we didn't need to know that during the film. But yeah.
They might be in the,
do you know,
they might
right?
be in the same
Even the
universe.
special edition.
They might be in the
Is it-
same universe.
Go on. Go on,
Oh.
Chef.
I'm about to say my computer's gone. It's in the same universe. It's like as the Starship Troopers. As a bug hunt. That's it. It's interesting to think if that was in the same universe. I know it's not, but it'd be interesting.
Do you know one of the things I liked with Aliens was the practical effects? I mean, like, I think it was only 6 people in suits, if I remember right. That's why you only see so many on screen at any one time, right? And in fact, I think in one scene you actually see all 6, and that's when he looks up in the ceiling tiles, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
we're not fits.
yeah. But one of the scenes that I really appreciated was the bit, you know, where they're back in the complex and Newt's fell down there trying to find Newt. And then when Newt, it takes her and they run away, they get in the lift, and that one comes across the ceiling and gets half in the lift.
Yes.
And he shoots it, obviously, right? That scene, I love that scene because it's, you know, it's someone in a suit, obviously hanging upside down. But how good does that look when it comes flying through the bloody lift door like that? I mean, when you first watch that film, that scene makes you jump because you don't see it coming at all.
Do you know what it reminds me of? And this might just be me, but it reminds me of when Sarah Connor's escaping in Terminator 2. You know, from the.
I'm about to say, don't forget his Cameron. Don't forget his Cameron.
Yeah.
He used the
Such
same
a
scene
similar,
twice.
and then he just goes like, boom. Do you
Yeah,
know
it's
what I
the
mean?
same scene twice.
True, yeah.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Always
That's
reminds
true,
me of that.
yeah. I never thought of it like that. You're
No,
right.
I
Same
do.
scene twice.
Yeah.
And they're coming from the ceiling, if you remember as
There's
well.
2 of them. Oh, is there 2? Oh no, there's 3 of them. But yeah, it just reminds me of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same scene. It's the same scene.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. That's a good point.
Mm.
Yeah, very well done. Right, okay. I don't want to, like, I've got to be honest, there is more we could say on each film, but I'm just, because of how many films there are, we've got to try and fly through them. Otherwise, this could be a 4-hour stream, you know what I mean? So, right.
But if anyone wants an alien stream, just about aliens, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Talk about that shit all night.
Aliens, yeah.
Right, so let's move on to a very, bye-bye.
She wants to go to sleep.
Yeah. Have you not got something to put over us so she can go to sleep?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, yeah.
I have. I let her to so she can see you guys. Look, see, she's.
She's like, but I want to go to sleep.
I'll put her to sleep in a minute.
No, that's all right. She's all right. Bye. Yeah, so Alien 3, obviously quite a controversial film. Wow, developmental hell, studio interference. I mean, my God, take your pick what was going on now. Do you know one thing I've got to say about Alien 3, right? It's not as bad as everyone says, right? That's the first point. In fact, I'd say it's actually better than the 4th one. And also, I'm surprised it ended up anywhere near as good as it actually did when you actually look at all the problems that film had. Because there was a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
So many so I had to make notes because it's ridiculous.
Oh,
But yeah, before we get into any of that, thoughts, Paul, what do you think of Alien 3?
Well, I started watching it the other night, and I'm going to echo a lot of people's thoughts because I think because Alien and Aliens was like so awesome.
Yeah.
Alien 3, it was just never, ever, ever going to live up to it. And I know how many different stories they had, and they were going to do this, they were going to do that. They wasted so much time, money. People didn't want to be in it anymore. Put all that to one side, and I think if you watch Alien 3 and try and forget how good the first 2 were, I don't think it's actually such a bad film. It just had like such a high pedestal to try and recreate, and it was never going to happen. I actually think it's all right, but I used to absolutely slate this film for probably the last 20 years or so. But I did watch it the other night, and I think it's all right. I think it's all right.
Yeah. Chef, what's your thoughts?
Obviously, highly anticipated. When I knew this was coming out, it's not the the next film I thought we'd get. I think it's such a shame when you think about it, because I think it could have been so good. But obviously, we all expected to see Hicks again. We all expected to see we saw Bishop, but we see Bishop again and see Newt. I mean, when I was younger, I thought the best scene was when she goes and gets Bishop. I thought that was, when I was younger, I thought that was the best scene. Because of it had that aliens connection, and then you find out what you find out, and obviously you find out what happens to Hicks and to Newt, and but as I've got older and I've watched it again, I think it was a good. When the film finished, I actually thought we wouldn't get any more with Sigourney Weaver. I thought that would have been it, because it kind of, the way the ending was, you just thought, oh, she's at, like, she's done with it. And it was, for a film that's set in the future, it was so gone back in the days when it come to how they ended up killing it, and the facility was so old, if that makes sense. It was like they went back in time rather than in.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I don't go often watch it. I don't go out my way to watch it. Let's say.
Scott.
Well, back in the day, I thought it was utter shit. I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
Don't hold back, Scott.
No, wait. I thought the fact that they killed off Newt, but all what Ripley went through in Aliens, for fucking Newt to not even be in it was just ridiculous. Hicks, the fact that Hicks wasn't in it was ridiculous. And I hated everything about that film. I remember being so disappointed with it, but as the years have gone on and you find out why that film had so many issues, and it's not the film that was supposed to be, I think the one thing that holds that film together is there's some tremendous actors in that film.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yes. Great cast.
And I can kind of see that they wanted to rein it back and make it, each film was different, wasn't it? And they tried to do something different with it. And it fundamentally didn't work, but there were some strong actors in it. I appreciate it a lot more now.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the time, I fucking hated it. I thought it was shit.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was the same. However, the assembly cut? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
the assembly cut. Yeah. So that was the version that improved it. When you see the alien come from an ox instead of a dog.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I've got to address right from off the bat, obviously, like a lot of people have said, it seemed a lot more simple, a lot more almost back in time. No guns. Well, there's a reason why there wasn't guns, and that wasn't because they necessarily wanted to do it that way. It's because Sigourney Weaver had a problem with guns. She was anti-gun. So as a result, they had to take it out of the film.
Oh,
that was why it ended up no guns. Someone already alluded to the different storylines that would have been in it. I mean, there was talk of a planet made out of wood. A colony of monks.
In fact, it was originally supposed to be monks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is kind of how they ruled, didn't they, in the end?
Yeah, they kind of have still done that. It's just that the difference is the monks are now convicts. They're still religious. So they still kind of did the same thing. The problem you got is that if you go with monks, how are you going to explain monks trying to kill something? Whereas with convicts, it works, doesn't it? Because you can say, well, they're convicts who found God, but they've still got their instinctual want or need to kill things. Like, so it kind of works, doesn't it? Especially when you consider that all of them that are there are like ex-murderers, etc., etc. But yeah, there was a lot of problems, and like you guys have already said, very good cast. I mean, like some of the names here, like you got Charles Dance,
amazing actor. Charles Dance is an amazing actor.
Then you got Brian Glover, Pete Postlethwaite,
brilliant. Yeah,
Charles S. Dutton. Charles S. Dutton is great in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. Like that bit at the end when he fights it end to end. I mean, like, you know, when you look at that, you think that guy is a badass. He's got no weapons and he's fighting that thing barehanded.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But the one for me, Ralph Brown. Now, I like his character, even though he's played off as a bit of a joke. And he really does go on a bit of a journey in that film. You know, he's the idiot that copies everything the boss says, doesn't really know anything. He's a bit stupid, you know, goes along with the company. But then in the end, he all comes good, doesn't he? Like, he becomes a hero, you know? But there's a lot more to his story. So, did you know that Sigourney Weaver had a real issue with him in that film? She was actually.
I know there was a lot of on-screen. There was a lot of on-screen issues, weren't there? But I didn't know that.
She was
I
really
think
nasty.
It's been off screen in all of them. Like, well, at least the first three. I know there was loads in Aliens. People walking off set, etc., because people were having tea breaks. That's fucking mad.
So the problem was that Sigourney Weaver had won an Oscar for Aliens, and she got a bit sort of big-headed. So when it comes to that film, she wanted it all to be about her, and because, like, obviously, you know, Aaron, or 85 as he's known, because he's quite he ends up being a character that's kind of in the thick of it, doesn't he? When you really notice it when you watch the film, right? Pay attention to the bits when she's being obnoxious to him. You can tell that that's not acting. She really don't like him. And you know, if you read or watch what was said about her during that film, she was actually really horrible to him. Like, she was talked down to him. She was sarcastic to him. It sounds like she was actually quite bullying towards him during that film. And I feel like, because I watched it like the other night, and you can definitely tell that that's not acting. Like, it's really good. Like, not, you know, not good, but good in the way she does it. It's too good to be acting. You can tell she means it. So, and that's the thing. If you didn't know, you wouldn't really pick up on it. But yeah, she was horrible to him in that film, or during that film. So. But yeah, obviously we had lots of rewrites. In fact, so many I can't even remember how many there are. Can you remember, Bob?
I think it was. I don't think it was in the double figures, but I think it was like 7 or 8. I think it was a fair few.
I know some of them. Hang on, where is it? I've got them listed. Right, so one of the stories was you was going to have hybrid Xenos join together and make a 50-foot Xeno.
To be fair, all the ideas I grew up with were absolutely crap.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, we honestly, I think we genuinely got the best option out of all of them, which goes to show how bad the other ones were. Really, really bad. Like,
listen to these ones. Look, Bishop and Hicks fight off aliens on a space station. That was another one. Basically, they send Ripley and Newt to Earth, and then they fight off.
I mean, that could have been okay if it's just a bit of mindless violence and that, you know. I mean, and they don't have to survive, so it could be one of them with a bad ending. It might have been okay. That would be good as like a spin-off, you know, like what they've done with Star Wars.
Yeah,
you know, just like where everyone dies at the end, so it doesn't really matter anyway. So just do what they want.
I've kind of oversimplified it a little bit there, but there was a lot more to it that made it sound a lot worse than it actually sounds there.
All right,
but
okay.
That
might be okay. I'm going to rescue that one.
Yeah, and there was other things like they brought in weird factions and stuff, and it sounded awful. But I didn't want to like, yeah.
I was going to say the Chinese back on Earth that's a huge faction. That's why Wayland, like they know they're up against the Chinese, who are becoming more of like a global power, and they want to get in there to get the xenomorph. They want that technology, like because the Chinese know about it, so like they're trying to find it. You know, it's like the whole overall picture. When you must have read some of the comics. Even I haven't got the comics, but you can read them on PDF. Like, and
I've got some.
They're amazing. Yeah. They really are.
Yeah,
and it really opens up like the universe, and you can understand why Wayland and Yutani are doing what they're doing. Yeah.
Lee, do you actually know why they never went down the route of Hicks and all them? Is there an actual reason why? Because I've not really delved into it.
If I'm right, I think it was because what's his name? Sean Bean. No, not what's his name? Is it Sean Bean?
No.
Sean Bean, is it?
Surely not.
Michael Bean. Michael Bean?
Oh, Michael Bean, yeah.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. I think he'd signed up for something else, if I remember right. So he could.
Well, he wasn't even Hicks, was he? Let's be honest. He wasn't even Hicks originally.
I don't know. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. He wasn't. He got brought in later on, didn't he?
The guy who was playing it, he's actually in a few of the scenes. He's
that's
actually
right.
in the final cut as well.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's right. Yeah,
I think he was having a couple of cheeky, and he got caught out, so he got binned.
Well, how about this for some stories that they turned down? Right, this one will make you laugh. Alien Planet. They said no one wants to see that. Really?
Okay.
Kind of funny because they kind of did it with Prometheus, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're right.
Here's another one. Earth aliens in cornfields. Right, now this will make you laugh because this script pretty much ended up being Signs.
Yep.
With Mel Gibson.
So, which I think is a really good film. Actually, I enjoyed that.
Good film.
That was all right.
But there was another one as well. I forget what the other one was, but there was something else that got turned in. I think it got used in Aliens 4. I'm sure it did. That was another one. So that Sigourney Weaver wanted a relationship with a Xeno in the film. That's just weird.
That's it. James Rammer, who plays Ajax in Warriors and everything else. He was Hicks before Michael Bean. Yeah. He's put it in the comment. That's right, because he was on drugs then. I'm trying to think what Michael Bean was doing. What year did Thingy come out? 95.
No, Aliens was 86.
Oh, no,
so he did Terminator in 84.
Alien 3 was 92.
Yeah, we're talking about Michael Bean. Like, obviously, he was in Aliens, and that
would have filmed in 86. Sort of like 1990, 91, wasn't it?
So what? That would have been Tombstone. No, Tombstone was a bit later, wasn't it? I'm trying to think what he did. Because after Terminator, I didn't see him again till Tombstone. Then I didn't see him again till.
He was in The Rock, wasn't he? Was he in that?
The Rock. He just plays Hicks, basically, in my eyes.
Yeah.
he just plays Hicks.
But we all know Sean Connery has played 007, right? Let's just
100%.
Put that.
That's a different stream.
Oh God, you wouldn't be able to do that in one stream. No way.
No chance.
Right, first CGI Alien 2. Right, I just want to address that because not all of that was CGI. Actually, very little of it was. A lot of it was actually blue screen composite work with a puppet, and that's because David Fincher originally worked in ILM, which is Industrial Light and Magic. He was actually using a very old technology in that film that was 10 years out of date, I suppose, by then. There is very little CGI. I know, like, one of the CGI clips is the bit at the end when the sprinklers go on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of it was actually blue screen with a puppet.
The effects, when you think back to it, actually, with Alien and Aliens, we've talked about the effects. Fucking Alien 3, the effects were shit, weren't they, compared to them two films?
Compared to Aliens and
Aliens. 10 years out of date.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I suppose he had a lesser budget, though. That's the thing. That's what killed him. It was the budget. So I suppose he had to revert to stuff that worked, I suppose.
Yes, that's the James Johnson. He was in The Abyss.
That's right. Abyss is such
that
a
would
good
have been
film.
The Abyss, I reckon, that was filming when Alien 3
Probably. Yeah, probably.
That was a Cameron film, wasn't it?
Yes.
Good film.
Yeah. Was a Cameron film.
He played a bit of a twat. He played a bit of a twat in that one.
Yeah, that was my my first Ed Harris film I see with Ed Harris. I never really watched anything of him until I saw Abyss.
And what Rob's put here, this is right as well, isn't it? He did get sacked because of that. He was
smashed
on set.
He was on coke or something like that.
He was smashed on set, yeah.
He was, James Rammer was going to be like the next big thing. He obviously was in, was it 48 Hours or another 48 Hours? In one of them, wasn't he? I can't remember which one he was.
So Rob's saying they always planned to kill him off and that's why he didn't come back. Oh, okay.
I never read into it, Lee.
Why save him? Like, why?
It doesn't make any sense, to save him and then to kill him.
Well, yeah, but like I say, budget. Now, if they'd have had him in that, they would have had to have paid out a lot more money, I suppose. It was easier, cut him down, because otherwise you'd have to pay him more money because he's in a sequel. So that's how it works.
He was definitely Navy SEALs.
He was.
Yeah, fair
Which was terrible.
Another.
Oh,
What you want about Navy
I
Seals?
thought that was all right.
I
It's
didn't
a
like
great
Charlie
film.
Sheen. It's because of Charlie Sheen.
Oh,
Yeah, the video game is so much better than the
Younguns.
film.
Oh yeah, I love it on the 64.
I liked Navy Seals because Bill Paxton's in that as well, isn't he?
I just don't like Charlie
Plays
Sheen.
God. Plays
Yeah.
God. He's got the old sniper rifle.
Yeah, I just don't like Charlie Sheen in it.
So does that mean you don't like Young Guns if you don't like Charlie Sheen?
He dies in the first part of it,
Yeah,
literally.
but
Anyway.
Young Guns is
Well,
great.
he gets
That's a
shot by
great
Pat Garrett when he's sat in the fucking shite. But I mean,
Yeah, I just Charlie Sheen for me is always like the comedy roles and all that. So when I was young, when I saw him, I was like, "What's he doing in Navy Seals?" Sort of thing. But anyway,
here's a question
So-
for you, and
Go on.
it's completely not related. But what's the Charlie Sheen film where he steals cars and he steals like Porsches? Only steals Porsches.
when he
doesn't
steals
steal-
cars,
Yeah, like
Dunno.
he's a car thief. I'm sure it's Charlie Sheen, and he steals cars. That's what he does.
and what does he do with the cars when he steals them?
They get stripped down, resprayed, sold. He's like a proper thief.
I have to. I thought you was going to. I was about to say the Wraith when you said
Yeah,
car.
that's what I was
The Wraith
thinking when he
is the
said car.
car film I know him in, yeah.
Yeah, Rafe.
He's done-
That's
I
he's
think
done-
it was him. Oh, I don't know now. I'm sure it was what like the first film I ever saw him in, and it was like where he was like a car thief. Like he stole. I'm sure it was.
I'll be
He's-
back in 1 sec, guys.
His best film, what I always liked, was The Rookie with Clint Eastwood. I used to love
Yeah,
that film.
I was going to say The Rookie. That
Love
was a
that
great
I
film.
always remember being like about 9 or 10 years old when he's strapped to the chair and she fucking rides him. And
Yeah,
I
that-
was like,
I saw that. Like I remember watching that years ago. But then he's in. God, if you could look at his library, he's done so many different films. I mean, he's done comedies, he's done serious films,
I
he's
like him
done
in. Was it 2.5 Men? 3.5?
Two and a Half Men.
I never watched that.
Oh,
Never
it's all right. It is. It's actually all right.
He's in a film with his brother. I think is it
Emilio Estevez.
Men at Work, where they're
Yes.
like it's like a comedy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot that
decent.
film existed.
Yeah. The golf club. Is because I'm trying to think. We steals cars. Ooh, I don't know. After a little look.
Should I just Google it? I don't know.
Yeah, just
I'm
Google
sure it
Charlie
was-
Sheen's films.
I'm sure it's where he steals cars, but he'll only steal Porsches. There's like a Ferrari's there, and he's like,
Porsches?
nah. Or it's the other way around. Like he won't steal a Porsche, but you only steal Ferraris. It's something like that.
He might have. He done so many films back in the 80s, and like
Hot Shots.
Hot Shots was obviously was funny at this time for its time when you think about
I
it.
loved them films back in the day.
Yeah, Hot Shots Part 2 I used to love.
Yeah.
Here we go.
loved
Here we
that
go.
one.
No Man's Land.
Oh,
I've never heard of that.
never heard of that film. Never
There's a
heard.
cop, it says here, a Los Angeles rookie cop goes undercover to trap a wealthy young auto buff who operates as a hot car ring, and he finds he likes doing his target and stealing Porsches.
Well, there you go. That's a film I've never heard of. I've never
I'll have
heard
to-
of one.
I
Paul.
have to try and look for that then, mate, because I've
1987. 1987.
Mm.
Oh, that's good. I thought it was going mental there.
I have to
Sorry,
watch it.
more mental.
Obviously, Wall Street was the one that I always loved. Wall Street with him.
Charlie Sheen did kind of ruin that movie. Which one?
Navy SEALs.
Navy Seals. I didn't
Ah.
like. That's what I'm saying. I didn't like him because I didn't like him in Navy. That's why it put me off.
I
Yeah,
never
60
really
seconds,
liked Charlie Sheen, to be quite honest. For he's a smug, arrogant git, really.
I quite liked him in some things. Right.
Nah, I thought he was a twat.
But anyway, moving on. So, did anybody notice there's a goof in Alien 3 with Ripley and her rank? At which
no.
point did she become a lieutenant or lieutenant, as one of them keeps calling her?
Wasn't she already? Because she's a flight
No.
lieutenant. What
No,
was
she's
she?
a warrant officer in Alien, isn't she? And I'm sure they call her that in Aliens as well, don't they?
But did she not get a promotion because she goes to LV 426?
Yeah, I thought she had to change her rank.
Statement, didn't she?
They get yeah, she gets reinstated. I don't think they mention she gets promoted though.
Oh, I'm not sure, mate.
Because that's the thing. Like, I've always wondered that. It's like, well, when did she become a lieutenant then? Like, but yeah.
Yeah, he was in an alien film called Signal. Yep.
Yeah, that was terrible. That's all that needs to be said about that, really.
Yeah.
The only film that Charlie Sheen was good in was Rafe, and that's because you don't fucking see him much, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people got quite famous off the back of that film as well.
Yes,
right?
it was a great
Yeah.
film. Great film.
Yeah,
Which one's that?
Rafe.
yeah. It's a weird story.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's a
It's
B
got a
movie.
really cool car in it. So
Yeah.
the cars that raced. Oh,
It was
brilliant.
actually a concept car that they used as a pace car for, I think it was Indianapolis.
I think it was
Okay.
a Dodge.
It
Was
was
it a
made by
Dodge?
no Chrysler. It was a Chrysler.
Chrysler? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I do remember it because I used to like that film.
I wanted that car so badly when I
Yeah.
was a kid.
Nice. Right, back to what we're talking about.
Yeah,
So,
back to aliens.
right, so egg on the ship. So, what's the theories, guys? How do we think the egg got on the Sulaco? Would have loved to hear how
Bishop.
people try and put it.
Mm.
You think Bishop? Okay, all right.
He wouldn't know if he takes a lot of interest in what's going on, and
He
if
wanted
he's
to
programmed
sneak one back,
not
yeah.
to know about it and to do it, then at the end of the day, he's completely open to anything that the company do. He's owned by the company,
Yeah.
and as good as he is, and as good as he thinks he is, he could have done that without his. When you, I'm going to go back to that book again that I'm reading, but he's got his consciousness,
Yes.
and then he's got his programming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is not his consciousness. So for me, even though it's against what he wants to do, I think he puts an egg on the ship.
Yeah.
Personally,
But see, the thing for me is I've heard a lot of people say, well, the Queen, you know, she laid it there, and it's like, but did she? Because she ripped off like the part that she was laying the eggs with. So
unless she had one under her arm.
Perhaps you had one hidden, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, someone else says that, but I don't think that works either because you see her come out at the bottom of the dropship. So at what point would she have got time to do that?
She might
I'm
have
with Paul. I think that Bishop, his programming has made him take one of those eggs.
Well, what about the cat?
What
The
about
cat.
it? The cat gets
Please,
left behind at the
excuse
beginning
me.
of Aliens, so that
you,
doesn't
you
work.
little shithead, you're staying right here.
Yeah.
Jones.
What about the cat?
And
What about
he's not called Jonesy, he's called Jones. And he does actually have his own official
He does, doesn't he?
thing. Yeah, he's a proper member of the crew.
Yeah.
But Jones, it's got nothing to do with him. All I'm going to say is every cat I've ever had has always been a ginger. Because it's just Jones. I've never had one called Jones though. Not yet.
You'd have to change that then. Being an
I
Aliens
know,
fan,
I'm
you'd have to change that,
I
man.
I know. But then what happens when he dies? Like, how can I have another one?
Jones
No,
2.
just-
There you go.
Yeah.
Jones number 2. There you go.
Jonesy.
So I've got a bit of a theory on one thing, but I don't know. I read somewhere that
I love hearing the theories.
I'm sure there's a bit in the special edition of Aliens. Isn't there a part where you find out that part of the Sulaco's is like they can't use it? It's out of bounds for some reason. I'm sure there's a part where you find out there's an
Don't
area
know,
of the
but
ship.
again, in that book that I'm reading, that is part of and that is a USMC ship.
Because what I'm
that has
thinking
got
is,
that.
what if there was already an egg on board in a different compartment on the ship?
But it
And
defeats
they
the
weren't
object
aware
goal,
of it.
mate. Well, yeah.
Nah.
It's a
Right,
no from me
no.
personally.
I reckon it's new.
But who knows?
Big cheese snuck it on.
So the other one that gets me is the one where they always go,
knows?
but there's only
But, I mean, did she ever get checked? She might have already had one implanted in her.
Yeah,
We
she
don't know.
might already be impregnated.
We
Who?
don't know. Newt. She never gets checked, does she?
yeah.
What about when she got took away? What about if they put one in her? She was blacked out and she never knew.
But then,
Alien 3, they do an autopsy though, didn't they, on Newt?
yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Very well, yeah. Shit, yeah.
Yeah, so that
Right,
don't
yeah.
work, unfortunately. It would have been a good way of doing it, I suppose, but
Yeah,
but
I should write this
the,
shit.
the other one I hear a lot is when people go, there's only one egg and one facehugger, so how does it end up laying one in Ripley but also in the dog stroke ox? Well, that one's blown out of the water in the
Going
comics,
back
isn't
to
it?
Alien. Going back to Alien. Remember the morphing of the egg? The morph?
Yeah, but that's not what happens though. They explain it in the comics. It's
I've not seen that.
it's a royal facehugger, so with a royal facehugger, because it's carrying a queen embryo, it also carries a soldier embryo as well, so it can actually impregnate two things. And the whole idea is so that the soldier protects the queen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why the soldier one comes out first, because the queen takes longer to develop.
Like wasp sort of ants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The thing I don't like, right, with the whole going back to Alien 3 and that impregnating Ripley, is why does it take so long for it to come out of her?
Because it's
when
a
it
queen.
didn't with Kane in the first one. Yeah, bollocks.
It's a queen.
And Kane in the first one, it was literally, what was it, 24 hours? I don't know how long it was. But with her, it seemed to take forever.
It touches on that as well, but I think the queen embryo gestates in a lot shorter time.
Ah, right. Okay.
But I mean, I'm only going. I mean, that book I'm reading, it's like fan written at the end of the day. So they have like looked at the whole like world, and like that's what he says in that anyway. Like it does take a lot of different time. There is different timelines depending on how much it's needed, etc. But who knows? That's just someone else's interpretation at the end of the day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, I suppose it kind of makes sense when it's a queen, it's going to take longer anyway. And of course, like I say, it's important that if it's going to lay two embryos, it's important that the soldier comes out first. Otherwise, what's to stop people killing the alien, the queen, in its early stages? Because they're more vulnerable, aren't they? So, you know. Yeah, what Rob said here, Sigourney, height of her fame. Yeah, because like I was saying earlier, with the way she treated the guy who played 85, yeah, she was horrible to him because she was too busy sniffing her own farts. Hicks was played by James Reno originally. Oh yeah, we've already read that. I think
he was sniffing her farts.
I don't know how I've ended. Somehow the chat's gone backwards for me. I don't know why. Let's see where I got to.
We got to Charlie Sheen. They were talking about.
Charlie Sheen was in an Alien movie. Yeah, that's right. We got to that one, didn't we?
Yeah, you got
big difference between a warrant officer and lieutenant. One of them is commissioned, one is not.
Pretty much. It's normally like from you got warrant officer class 2, warrant officer class 1, and then you would normally get a late entry to an officer, but as a captain, not as a lieutenant or lieutenant, as we call it.
Yeah.
So you got like second lieutenant, captain. So it does seem like the natural next progression, promotion-wise, I suppose.
Yeah, it just seems weird that she gets promoted, but you don't hear it. Like that's what I don't get. Because in Aliens, they do say she's reinstated. I don't remember them saying she's promoted. So it's like, well, where did the promotion come from then? Like,
what's the bit where he's? Sorry, go on, mate. Sorry.
Just quickly, I was going to say, unless when she's on the Sulaco and she asks, "Is there anything I can do around here?" and then she gets put in charge of like, like the what's it called, the loader. Maybe she needs to be.
But there's a scene there.
Who knows?
There's what's the scene where someone says like, "Oh, you was a lowly rank officer, so now we made you this," or am I wrong? Or was that to do with the part with the power lifter? I can't remember.
Power lift is what I'm thinking, but I just don't.
There's a conversation. There's a conversation where they spoke about her position.
The only bit I remember is B5.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch it again.
Per the company mission, there would have to be some kind of facility to transport an alien home in Aliens. Yeah. So this is what I mean. So, and then of course he's put a secret part of the locker. Yeah, well that's what I think. Like maybe that's what it was. Maybe I'm sure that you hear in the special edition that there's an area of the ship that they can't get to or whatever. Maybe that's what it was for, because Burke was obviously planning on bringing one back.
Where do they say that in the film?
And this Sulaco is owned and built by Weyland-Yutani.
I can't. Well, everything's built by them, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I can't actually remember when it was said, because I watched most of these films before this stream. I left Aliens because Connor wants to watch it before the new one. So I haven't watched Alien recently, but I do remember something being said somewhere. But I'm trying to remember if it's in the film or whether it was in a comic. I know I read it somewhere, or heard it somewhere. I know there's something about it somewhere. But it kind of makes sense because, like we was just alluding to a minute ago, you know, if Bert was planning on bringing a specimen back, which he was, he would have had to have put it somewhere. So it would make sense, right? If there's an area of the ship they don't know about.
But how did he get it? But how has he got it from there to there? And why was he still trying to put it into Ripley or into Newt? You know what I mean?
No. You're still on about the egg thing. We're not on about that now. What we're saying is someone's saying there was a secret area of the ship. And I'm saying, thinking about it, a secret area of the ship would have made sense if he was planning on bringing a specimen back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. I know. What I'm saying is
after the gestation. After that.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch a bit because I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that bit, but it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm sure, like I say, if it's not in a special edition, it's in a comic or something. I know that I've seen it somewhere. I know I have. But yeah, so right, we covered the bad effects to ILM and all that lot. Assembly cut. So you get 25 minutes extra with the assembly cut, believe it or not.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Well,
that's good. It's a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah, the assembly cut is the one where it comes out of the ox instead of the dog.
Is that online, Lee?
That's the one I watched.
Is that online, or was that part of the special edition or something?
I know that I had it on DVD. I think it's in the Blu-ray box set. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'm sure they did release it, didn't they?
Yeah, you get a choice of either version, I think, if I remember
I've got the Blu-ray 4 movies in one. Yeah, I've got that.
It should be in there. I'm sure it is.
Okay, if it is, I'll have to go back because I've not gone back to watch 3 for...
Like, for example, like when it comes out of the ox, like the scene where it runs away is a lot better than what you see when it comes out of the dog.
Yeah.
It looks so much better when it gallops off. Like, and also the part where they initially find the crashed, I suppose, escape vessel, lifeboat, whatever you want to call it. In the original cut, they're inside the shuttle bit, aren't they? And there's some really bad audio work done there. Whereas in the assembly cut, now you've got a wide shot, same audio, but they've cleared it up a little bit and you're seeing a top view of them. You're not seeing them in the actual vessel. It's all much better the way it's done. It's the effects look better slightly as well. They've done a much better job with it. Yeah. And I think also, if I'm right, I'm sure in the assembly cut, do you see the Queen still come out of her at the end? I don't think you do you?
I can't remember, you know.
When she dives off that platform, I don't think you see it come out in the assembly.
Well, you don't see it chest burst at all.
Yeah, I don't think you do. Because
I think right, yeah.
One of the reasons why a lot of people said it was better was because the argument at the end there, right, is that they're saying that they can save her, they can get it out of her and she'll survive. And the argument from people always was, well, no, that wouldn't have worked anyway because it burst out of her like literally a minute later. They wouldn't have been able to save her. Yeah. And that's why in the assembly cut, they changed it and you don't see it burst out, which makes more sense. Also adds a lot more weight that she didn't believe them, that she killed herself because she didn't believe them, not because she felt it move. Because she does say in the normal cut that she felt it move, don't she? Do you remember?
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? When you think about it. See if Paul remembers. Paul, do you remember in the assembly cut whether the Queen bursts out of Ripley's chest at the end or not? Because I'm sure it doesn't.
I don't think it does. No.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I was just saying a minute ago, I don't know if you heard it, that a lot of people said, well, even if they had took her on the ship, it still would have burst out of her. They wouldn't have been able to save her. Whereas in the assembly cut, they fixed that by it not coming out. And it adds a lot more weight to her death because it points out that she didn't believe them. And that's why she did it. Whereas in Alien 3, the normal version, you clearly hear her say, I felt it move. So, you know, so, yeah, it adds a lot more weight to it. Like she knew that they wouldn't kill it. And that's why she did it.
At the end of the day, the plant up the run, it's still owned by Weyland Yutani. So there's just no escape from them.
Yeah.
I mean, they get like a few messages, don't they, on what to do. She's like, we'll be on there, like, which goes against everything.
I agree. The soundtrack is awesome.
Yeah. No, I don't know, actually. That's one of the things.
I've not listened to it.
I don't know. Like, I kind of like it in one respect, but I feel it's a bit out of place for an Alien movie. That's the problem. Like, it doesn't seem eerie enough. Like, when you look at especially the first film, it's very minimalistic, like very spooky sounds.
Second film has like a proper orchestra though about it. It's just
Yeah.
especially that where they're escaping from LV-426 at the end before the explosion. It's just that's
the bit when they're in the tank as well. That bit's quite good as well, isn't it?
Yeah, love that scene. Oh,
yeah, definitely. Right, okay.
Well, got to get into the best one now, the Alien Resurrection.
Oh,
it was okay on the PS1. It was okay on the PS1.
Yeah.
I must admit, when I heard this was coming out and I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, it's kind of like Aliens in the terms of that. There's lots of gunfighting and shooting, and then when you actually saw it, you were like, oh, okay, it's not like that then.
I'll tell you what. Now that definitely did have some bad CGI in it. That one, like, so when you go back and look at that, it's fucking awful in places. It really is.
I remember people kicking off about the was it the swimming aliens? No. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that scene. I like that scene.
I didn't mind it, but I remember.
What was the problem?
Because all of a sudden they've evolved or something, innit?
They can swim.
For me, it had
no.
Rider in, and I've always liked her, so I was quite happy to just sit along and just watch her. To be quite
Aliens already swam. They did it in Aliens when they grabbed Newt. Don't forget.
Oh yeah,
Comes up behind her, doesn't it, in the water?
Yeah, that does.
They already swim.
I mean, why wouldn't they swim? You can chuck any animal in the water and it can swim.
I think it was
What
just.
do you really want to
It's got breathing pipes on its back, for Christ's sake. Like, what are they for if not swimming? Like,
What do you guys think of Alien Resurrection then? Do you like it?
No.
I knew you was not going to like it. What about you, Paul? Do you like it?
It's not great. Like, after Aliens, it's a slow decline, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I actually think Alien 3 is better than Alien 4.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It just slowly gets worse.
The best bit about Alien Resurrection was Ron Perlman.
Yes.
Oh, shut up. Come on.
You know what? You know what? I've got a confession. Alien Resurrection is quite kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I actually like that film. It might be because I went and see that film with a girl at cinema, which I particularly liked back then. So I have fond memories of going to seeing that film at the cinema. That might be why, but yeah, no, that I've got quite a. I kind of like Alien Resurrection.
I just think again, hello Matt. You know, it's got to live up to such a big. I think Aliens and Alien have just set such high standards that anything would fail. I think, and that's why it's so. You know, the new film looks good. It does look good, and I hope it is. I really hope, because I think again, it's just such a great franchise. We've had the crossovers, and we've had, you know, the comics and the books and the fan made stuff and the theories, and then the toys, and then we've had all different types of games, and it's such a big franchise.
I think Alien Resurrection was just such a 90s film.
Can I just
say mid-90s sort of film?
Yeah.
It felt to me that Alien Resurrection was another film, and it was rebranded to be an Aliens film.
Kind of felt like
it does feel that way, yeah.
To me, that's how it feels.
Yeah, no.
So, like on its own, like if it's just done its own thing, it would probably have done all right anyway. But it just feels like it's been rebranded to like fit into the narrative sort of thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was the first Ron Perlman film I think I saw of him. I know he's done loads, but I think that might have been one of the first I've seen him.
Can I point out something about Ron Perlman in that?
Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, wasn't it? The TV.
He played the Beast, didn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't have known it was him. Yeah, makeup on.
That was Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
But yeah, the funny thing about Ron Perlman in that film, the ironic part is there's a part where he's acting like a gorilla, and he kind of looks like one, which is interesting. He does, doesn't he? Tell me he don't. Like especially when he's doing it, he looks just like one. He looks like someone got a gorilla and shaved it. Like he does.
The other thing, interestingly, I don't know if you know this, he is the voice of Oh shit!
I know what you're going to say. One of the Transformers.
Yeah, he's
I know.
Optimus Prime, the gorilla. I've got the name. I can't believe I forgot the name. Oh my god,
Optimus Primal, isn't it?
Beast Wars.
Optimus Primal. Yeah, he's
Primal,
he's Optimus
Yeah, I
Primal.
know.
He's the voice.
Speaking of Ron Perlman, and I don't want to go too off track here, but did you know that they've got a new Hellboy coming out that looks utter dog shit?
And it's not him.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's
Not him, and the story just looks terrible. Just loads
Yeah.
of people running around in the woods.
You know,
It
I
looks
actually
terrible.
kind of liked the last one they done. Everyone hated it, but I kind of liked that film.
It's
It
not
wasn't
too
bad.
bad. But, yeah.
It wasn't bad.
If I'm honest, I didn't really like the Ron Perlman ones either that much. So
The cartoons. There's some good
Can I just
cartoons.
say, I ain't seen any of them.
No,
yeah.
they're all right.
So what are we thinking then? Like, are we all in agreement that Alien 3 was better than Resurrection, or would you disagree, a couple of you?
At the time, back in the day, I thought Alien Resurrection was better than 3.
Yeah, I would second.
I would say I was probably the same back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, 100%. I remember going to the cinema, going to see Alien Resurrection, going, fuck me, at least they're back on track, and that's fucking so much better than that last one.
But now, when you watch it,
now,
you see the connection
yeah,
Ripley has, that she's part alien or whatever, and then the baby one, I didn't really,
That bit was unforgivable what they did there, right? I could excuse the fact that they experiment with blood and they bring Ripley back, and it was kind of interesting.
Bullshit otherwise.
It was kind of interesting that Ripley has like xenomorph like tendencies, That was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
like
interesting.
that.
Tendencies. Like, wow, where?
Yeah, but I kind of liked that. I
ridiculous.
liked how she had like more strength and was like
Yeah,
had that.
a reflexes.
But when
acid for blood.
they showed that thing, that sort of half human,
Yeah,
half
that was the.
fucking
It-
hell.
It just seems that they had a fairly good idea that they didn't execute very well, and then that newborn gets thrown in, and it's like, right, you've lost me now. What the hell is that?
there was a lot of people.
Only in the 90s.
Yeah.
Only in the 90s would you have got that.
There was a lot of people pissed off about the idea that Ripley was merged with an alien because she fought so long against them,
Yeah.
and all of a
Yeah.
sudden she is one of them, And I kind of get that. I do get that because you think about one.
I
and
think
two,
I was one of those people, to be fair.
Yeah, because
I
it
just
just
think
seems a
shit.
bit. They kept on.
It just defeats the object of the first two films.
Yeah.
Like,
I
totally.
think that was
It's
the
just-
only way they could get her back, though, because I'm sure I remember watching something or reading something that
What
they
did
really battled to get Sigourney Weaver back for 4, and the only reason she went back was because that they were going to do that side to it.
It is okay though. I agree with Rob there. Like, it's not like I don't mind it. Like, I can happily sit and watch it because I'm watching 1, 2, 3, 4. I can sit there and watch it. Like, it knew its limits, and I thought it did all right. Really.
Do you know one of the parts I like? Do you remember the part where he's freezing the alien, and eventually that alien gets its own back, doesn't it? Later on,
Yeah.
it like thumps the button with its mouth, doesn't it? And it gets all his one side of him
It's
frozen.
like,
Yeah, I always thought that bit was pretty cool. It's like, yeah, that thing proper like outsmarted you there, mate. Like,
What you said there, Scott, was interesting because earlier on Lee said that Sigourney wanted to do a film where there was a bit of romance. Did you say, Lee, with the xenomorph?
yeah, apparently, like one of the storylines, she wanted to do some weird sexual thing with a xenomorph. Like, it was all very strange.
She got it in Alien Resurrection.
Well, the thing is they had.
Are you saying Alien Resurrection? Sorry.
Yeah. They had to get Sigourney Weaver back. They had to do that kind of thing because she said she would never go back to Alien after Alien 3, and it was the fact that they came back with this whole. She was going to be a bit xenomorph and all of this that she bought into it. She was refusing to go back to it
Because we
Money.
had that massive.
That was money.
We had that massive. Was it 2008, 2009 when the guy, is it Neil Blomkamp was
Blomkamp.
Sorry.
Blomkamp. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
He asked for money to make the film.
Well, that's how Geiger done all those new. He done loads of new work for it as well.
Because you had Hicks with like the eye dodge and where and
acid and yeah.
because I get confused because there was a conversation where Blomkamp was wanting to make. I don't know if it was Halo or Aliens, and instead they gave him the money. And he made District 9. I don't know if it was Halo or Aliens. I can't remember what film it was.
And Chappie, done Chappie as well.
Yeah, and when obviously District 9, there's lots of rumors now about the other one. Anyway,
what are you talking about there? Was you talking about the film that was going to come out that technically would have been Alien 5?
Would have been Alien.
Cancelled out
Alien 3.
Yeah, it would have cancelled out 3 and 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the story was meant to be that they'd been in hibernation for a long time or something, and it was all a dream. You know, none of it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were wanting to do, wasn't it?
It looked
they would have done a Dallas with it, basically.
Yeah.
From what I understand,
that was all kiboshed by what we're seeing now, isn't it?
Ridley Scott. He kiboshed it when he did Prometheus. Yeah.
When he done Prometheus.
Or was it Covenant? Might have been Covenant, actually.
Covenant,
It was one of them, wasn't it? Yeah.
Covenant, yeah. But that's what I'm pretty sure there was. I saw stuff where Sigourney was quite open for that movie, but then obviously he got District 9 or whatever he did. I can't remember what happened, but it went a bit different.
See, for me, I think Alien 3 is more watchable than Alien 4, and the reason is because of the actors in it. There's some really good actors in Alien 3.
Well, there's not bad actors in Resurrection. You got Pellman,
mainly British cast too.
Yeah, we got Winona Ryder, whatever name, Sigourney Weaver.
How do you say Winona Ryder?
Winona Ryder.
You're going to
remember right. When Winona Ryder was in that film, wasn't that around the time that she got arrested for stealing? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was a massive headline, wasn't it?
Definitely after. It was after. But I do remember that. Yeah, I was quite a big Winona Ryder fan back in the day.
You're the Ryder fan.
I just what I want to know is what I really want to know, because obviously Lee is.
I agree with Rob 100%. Yeah, just by the way, like he's absolutely spot on there. Yes,
I would love to know what Lee on this stream is hoping. Even though you know lots of things, what are you hoping we get from the new movie? What would make you, even though you know bits and pieces now, what would make you happy to see from this film? Because obviously we're doing this before the new film's out.
I'll be honest, I'm not asking for a lot at all. I just want it to make sense.
Okay.
That's literally it. Like, if they can do this film without fucking up Alien and Aliens, I'll be happy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Don't fuck up the timeline. Give us like something that's like, it's got to be a horror that's like, it's one of those isolation horrors. It's got to be isolation, because that's what Alien and Aliens is all about. It's got to be isolation, and it's got to be probably a female against all the odds.
One thing I will tell you, Paul, I don't know if you know, right? Honestly, it's not a spoiler, so don't panic, right? The director is a massive fan of Alien Isolation.
Massive.
Oh, that's
massive fan. So
it's such a good game.
Good.
He's a massive fan of Aliens altogether.
He is, but he's definitely a massive fan of Isolation. Definitely. So,
do you know what? With the new Alien film, the only thing I'm a little bit disappointed about, and when you look back at all the Alien franchise, you've got grounded, experienced people dealing with, and now it seems like we've got a bunch of kids dealing with it. That's the only little cynical sort of negative.
We've got to hand it over eventually.
Yeah,
let's just hope they do the right thing with it.
It's always, I don't know, it seems to me this might be the Disney element, is that cinema today is always got to be about youngsters, isn't it? You know, some of the greatest films have got, you know, look at The Thing. There's no one under the age of 40 in that film. And the same with the original Alien. Come on, Alien, you know, they're an older generation. And the only thing that when I watch the trailers that I think, am I not going to resonate with these kids? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
I get it. Yeah,
it depends on the character, though. If it's starting again, you know, like if they might do like something after this, then
it's just the original Alien.
I know what you mean.
About grounded, career-driven people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's just going to be interesting. Interesting.
James has just,
I've got nobody to see it with either. I'm going to have to go on my own.
James has just shared the best quote of Alien 3. Because this is what Dylan says, isn't it? Is it Dylan? Yeah.
Begging. Ain't much for begging.
We're all gonna die. The only question is, do you want it on your feet or on your fucking knees? Yeah, that is a great quote that he says in that. Yeah. And the other bit I like is, you remember the part where he goes, I'm just going to teach some manners to the brothers. And you can clearly see that there's brains on the end of that metal pole. He's like, literally just murdered one of them. And he's like, I'm teaching him some manners. No, you just murdered that guy, mate. Like, you didn't teach him anything. Yeah.
Let's hope. Let's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Bunch of no names gives it.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, true.
I'm not going to lie. I would have loved to have had an Alien Isolation cartoon, or maybe not a movie because we've got the game. But
well, look, we ain't got Romulus yet. Just wait and see what we get with Romulus.
Well,
and
Romulus is going to be brilliant, and I think also what it's going to do, what I want out of Romulus, and I think we're going to get it, is it's going to answer some of the questions left in Aliens.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's also, but it's not going to be intrusive. It's not going to spoil.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Anything to do with Aliens, it's just going to tie some little loose ends up, I think.
I hope
so. I really hope so. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I would have done mess up the whole story.
No, I don't think he'll do that. He loves it.
Otherwise,
I'll be honest. Let's move off of this because I don't want to accidentally say
something. Don't you say anything. You
right? Let's talk about Prometheus.
Yes, let's talk about Prometheus. As much as I don't want to. Yeah, I know. I don't want to, but let's be honest. That's a clusterfuck.
We've only got 8 minutes, so I mean, how can it be?
Yeah.
All I'm going to say with Prometheus, right, is you got a guy that's meant to be, what is he classed as? Let's just say he's someone who maps places and he gets lost. That's all I'm going to say. That's all you need to say about that film. That's how stupid that film is. A guy that surveys places gets lost.
Army.
You know that an idiot's wrote that film when you've got a surveyor that gets lost.
Yeah, I know.
The best thing about that film is Idris Elba.
No, the best thing about that film is the end. That's the best part. The credit.
There ain't nothing good about that film, really, is there? Even Michael Fassbender, he's a great actor, but fucking hell, that film couldn't be saved.
I hated that
mess.
Film.
Prometheus is just an absolute
mess.
Yeah.
It feels like 4 or 5 different films chucked together, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's so up its own arse. It's really pretentious in places, and it leaves more answers than it does anything else. And even its whole trying to bring it together, it's awful. It's awful.
I don't think even Ridley Scott knew what he was doing with that, because every time they speak to him, he says a different thing every time.
Yeah,
right? Because
totally.
First of all, it was, it's going to show you the birth of the xenomorphs. That's what he said at first. And then it was, I was going to show you the engineers, which are the people who created the xenomorphs. And then it changes to, it's all about AI. And it's like, mate, pick one. What is it really about?
I actually like the idea of the engineers. I would have liked to know more about the engineers, but in the end, Prometheus, I didn't like what they done with it. I thought it was awful.
Well, they screwed the engineers up, in my opinion. I mean, did you notice how big the engineer was in the first film?
Yeah.
As opposed to how big he is in Prometheus.
Yeah.
I mean, how'd you mess that up when you did both films? Like, you got to be an idiot, aren't you? Really?
I just like the fact about the space jockey, because obviously that was a scene that I never forget from Alien.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, he tried to answer it to a certain degree where you see the helmet suit thing come over him, but even still, it's still like, mate, he's still not the same size.
Yeah.
No.
And the reason why there's such a size difference in Alien, did you know that bit when you see them two in the astronaut costumes next to the space jockey, that was because that was somebody's kids in the suits.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that the space jockey looked much bigger than it actually was.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which is why when you watch Prometheus, the size is completely wrong. Because now you've got actually proper people standing next to them. So, yeah. Me and brothers are going to have a discussion of the spirit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I just like the film is its own thing, and it's just all set up for a sequel.
Yeah, well,
do you know?
Yeah,
one of the things.
Yeah.
One of the last things I just want to say on Alien Romulus is that I think it would actually be good if the Xenos win, if I'm honest.
Be nice to see if they're
They've got to,
in
really,
the TV
ain't they?
series.
So don't interfere.
Do a Rogue One, kill them all off.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, Rogue One, awesome.
You know,
That's
that
what
would
it
work.
feels like. It could be like a Rogue One. Like,
I think it will,
do you know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
probably why there's no big actors. Because Rogue One, really, the main crew. There was a few decent, obviously, actors in it, but
Yeah,
there wasn't
James
really.
Bond.
Huh?
There was a guy with James Bond, like he was quite there.
But there was no one massive, was there?
Yeah, no,
as in the actual crew from Rogue One. I mean, you had Donnie Yen,
Yeah,
who's awesome anyway. But that, yeah, I mean, that could probably, like Lee
James
said,
makes a good point. That's what I've been saying for a long time. I'm just going to say like a couple of words really. Gladiator 2 says it all, really, doesn't it? Does that film need a sequel?
The thing is, though, is don't you think all how old is Ridley Scott now? I don't know.
Too old to be doing films. That's what
exactly.
he is. You know,
he should have retired on the top of his game.
Mm.
And he's just greedy. Is just like, still. And at the end of the day, every great director, you can't just signal out Ridley Scott. You got to look at them all. You get to a certain point in your career and you're just burnt out. You're just doing it for money. It's just the creativity's gone. That spark is gone.
It's not there.
And it's the same with anything to do with art and creativity, not just movies, music, everything. There's a time when you've got to go at your peak and not keep continuing. And someone like Ridley Scott, unfortunately, should have fucking retired a decade ago. And he keeps going. Look at John Carpenter. He's one of my favorite directors, and no one talks about his last films.
No,
because they were bullshit compared to the amazing films he directed beforehand. So all directors do the same. Quentin Tarantino now, you look at him, a more current director, he's exactly the same. His last couple of films have been awful, I think.
So what Rob's put here about exploring the space jockeys. Now, this is how I would have done Prometheus if it was me. So in Alien, obviously they go on a derelict ship. We know that it's an engineer ship. And we also know that the eggs are in stasis, right? Now, what I would have done is I would have explained somehow that basically most of their race were wiped out by the xenomorph. And so they were actually collecting all of the eggs from various areas to dispose of them.
Yeah.
That's how I would have explained it, because then you would have basically had a race of people that were wiped out by them, but were also trying to destroy them before they wiped everybody else out. That would have made, I think, quite an interesting story.
Why they landed on that planet in the first place was to just, eradicate. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That's what they should have done, but instead we got what we got. That's how I would have wrote it. But, obviously Ridley Scott had better ideas. Yeah. I honestly, that film, I can't even, there's so many bad things about that film. I can't even really pinpoint one thing because it's all bad, isn't it? It really is. Like, I know a lot of people moan about Covenant, but I actually think Covenant isn't as bad as Prometheus. I think Prometheus is worse.
I'm trying to think. I'm sitting here trying to think of a positive about Prometheus. I really am, and I can't think of one.
Yeah, that's tricky.
It tries to answer some questions about the universe, but in the end, it just ends up making more questions.
It's a mess, isn't it?
It all becomes confusing, doesn't it? It doesn't.
Yeah. I think originally it was trying to answer some questions, but it just made more.
I actually cannot think of anything positive about that film. I'm trying my hardest, but I really can't. I mean, I can't even say Idris Elba's in it because he's terrible in it as well.
Oh, bless him.
I can't think of anything good about that film at all. Like, can you even say it looks nice?
Not really.
Nice?
No.
The
soundtrack. Nothing. There's nothing about that.
No, honestly, I can't really think of anything. I mean, not Guy Ritchie. What's his name? Pierce. Guy Pearce. He's in it. Yeah, but then that's not positive either, really.
No.
I think him in it was it the Time Machine. I think him in that a long time ago.
Memento is the best film.
But point is, even he didn't save that film, did he? Like,
no chance. Nah, no way.
You know, I'm struggling. I can't think of anything good that come out of that film at all.
Oh yeah, no, James Johnson, the bird in it. I can't pronounce her name.
The bird in it.
Oh, you're on about the blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go.
There we go. There we go. She
there we
is
go.
a bit of candy. She's nice. Yeah,
Yeah, we got a positive. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah,
that'll work. That's the positive of Prometheus.
Even though she does get squashed. She literally does. A ship rolls on her, doesn't it? Like, interesting death scene. Right? Yeah. Little off topic, but over here in game. God, Ridley's Napoleon. Oh yeah, Napoleon. Oh, terrible film. Couldn't stand it. It was horrible.
Guys,
made no sense.
I'm just going to say I'm going to have to shoot off soon. It's after 10 for me, which is quite late.
Right. Okay. Should we?
I'm just saying, like, you know, just so you know, just so I'll just disappear and.
Should we quickly get onto Covenant then, see if we can kind of fit it in before Paul has to jump off? Or
do we have to? I was hoping to get away before that.
Well, I don't know. What are you saying? Covenant's worse than Prometheus? Because I don't know.
Oh God, no. It's like I saw it when it came out, and I've never seen it since. So I suppose that says a bit about it.
Yeah, look, if only she had turned left. That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she's a bit stupid, really, wasn't she? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Covenant. Like, one of the things I didn't like about Covenant, they kind of did about an Alien 3, didn't they? It's like, oh look, she survived, and then you get like,
Alien 3.
Yeah, and it's like, where is she then? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
The beginning made no sense. It kind of gave you the hope that she was alive, and then they were talking about it, and then.
Yeah, and the other part that he uses parts of her body to develop, you know, face huggers and eggs, and it's like, man, this is ridiculous. What is this? Like, you know, like, what's going on here? Yeah, the whole concept of it was stupid. And I mean, of course, now since they've now turned around and said that he didn't create the xenomorphs, he actually was trying to replicate what the engineers did. That's what they've now put into the canon.
Yeah,
because Ridley screwed it up so bad. They've now said, well, he was trying to replicate what they'd already done. That's why his looked different. Because that's the thing, he isn't a xenomorph in that film. Like, I mean, you've got various different types, but the main one at the end isn't a xenomorph. It's is it an isomorph or something like that? They call it.
Yeah,
it's different, isn't it?
The thing that stands out with that film is just how forgettable the characters are. You don't actually relate to any of them.
No,
and you don't give a flying fuck when any of them die. You just like it's fodder.
Actually, I was hoping for them to die sooner than they did. Like, honestly, I was literally sitting there cheering when they did die because they were idiots.
And it's just ridiculous, terrible writing. You know, like when she's fucking stapling herself back together and then she's running around, and you're just like, what the fuck?
That's Prometheus, isn't it?
That's the first one.
Yeah, that's Prometheus.
Isn't it? When she
No, that's the first one when she cuts the alien out of her.
In the biobeds, Prometheus.
Now there you go. I'm muddling them both up then.
Nothing really sticks out.
The part that took me out of that film is that why would you land on an alien world and get out without breathing equipment and stuff? Like, why would you not be thinking there could be something parasitic here that can kill me? You're in an alien world and you just get out. Like, for example, I think at this point they already know that there's nobody alive there. Yeah, so it's like, why have you not put breathing equipment on? Like, why are you just walking around like it's Earth and everything's normal? Like, so is it any wonder that you ended up breathing something in? Like, you know?
Yep.
I mean, that was kind of an interesting concept, I suppose. The part where it goes, you see you can tread on some corn or whatever, and it goes in his ear, and later on it bursts out of his back. I suppose that was different, but again, it's like, well, you know, it's just the same, but it's coming out the back. I mean, like, why? You know, like, I don't know. It just felt like it was retreading old ground and just done worse. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what? Out of all of them, I think Covenant I've seen twice. That's it.
Do you know what? I think I've only seen it once, and that was enough.
I need to watch it again. Like, I'm not up to there yet, but I do.
I don't.
I know, but I'm gonna have to sit through it and watch it.
That one's etched in my brain how bad that is. I don't need to watch that again. Prometheus, I've got to fish that out of my Blu-rays because that's going. I don't want that.
Prometheus, I've watched a few times.
Yeah, I've tried.
Yeah, you always get so far and then they end up turning off.
I watched it so many times to try and understand it, to see if there was something I was missing, because it is so convoluted and so confusing.
Yeah,
but yeah, Covenant. I'm pretty certain I saw it when it first come out, and then I bought it on Blu-ray cheap from a charity shop or whatever, and I watched it again, and that's it.
I mean, even their leader's an idiot. Like the bit where he goes down into the basement, and he, it's almost like a kind of, look in there, and he just goes, what?
Yeah, they're all really
dickheads.
stupid. I can remember them all being stupid, and it was just fucking laughable. Yeah,
it's like, mate, how did you become a leader when you're that dumb? Like, come on, what's going on here? Yeah. Hey, look in there. Look, see that thing there that you don't know what it is? Stick your head in it. Go on.
Yeah, exactly that.
And that's Dr. Atom as well from Watchmen. He's meant to be smart.
I mean, look, what Rob said here. They had an android with him, and then send him out first. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that bit at the end as well. It's like it didn't occur to him that at the end of the film that might not be the same android that they came with. Like they both look the same. Like. Why are you so surprised at the end to find out that the arsehole one's the one that survived? Like, I didn't watch it at the cinema because I'd been burned by Prometheus, and there was no way I was paying for another clusterfuck. Like I waited till it come out to stream. Yeah, but and I was right because it's shit. So history proves me right. Yeah, but I mean, with the new one, what's going to be quite nice about that is that Connor's 15, going on 16 soon. So he's actually at a point where he can actually come and watch one of these at the cinema with me. So this will be the first time he's watched an Alien film at the cinema with his old man. So that'll be quite nice. I really, cool, I really hope it's good because it'll be special if it is. Let's just put it that way. So. Yeah.
To be honest, this will be the first Aliens film I've watched at the cinema for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. High hopes for it.
The last one I see at the cinema was Resurrection.
Prometheus for me. I watched.
Yeah, I didn't go from Prometheus or the other one.
And I was stupid enough to watch Prometheus in 3D, which really wasn't worth it because I think there's like 2 scenes in it that are actually 3D. That's it. It's a real, and it's literally, the bit when you see the holograms or whatever that is running down the tunnel. It's just them bits. Like it's like, wow, I'm really glad I paid this extra money just for them 2 scenes. Like, great. This is why 3D has gone out again because it's a waste of time. It is. It's shit. Like we don't need that. In fact, I'll be honest. I don't know about you guys, but I find 3D films give me a headache. Yeah.
I like what was the Avatar ones? I didn't enjoy the films, but I enjoyed the visual effects. I thought they were good.
Yeah, Avatar's weird, like because they attach ponytails to have sex, but then they also attach them to the animals. Yeah, do you see what I'm getting at there? Like, is that not just a bit wrong? Like, yeah. That's Cameron as well, isn't it? Like, what's wrong with that guy?
I never liked them films. I thought they were shit. The Avatar.
Yeah, they are terrible.
I've not seen the sequel because I thought the first one was so shite. I don't understand all the hype over that.
How cool is this? Look, James, my dad took me to see Aliens in the theatre in '86. Yeah, that's pretty cool. See, like I said, Aliens was the first one I saw, and I saw that. I rented that off the local video guy. We used to have a video van that used to come round. And I think you used to be able to rent 3 films for I think it was like a $5, and you got them till the next Friday, and then you come around again, and then you switch them, And Aliens, I rented from him. That was the first one I watched.
Guys, I'm going to have to say I do have to go.
Okay, mate.
But it's been amazing talking about my favourite film franchise of all time. But we definitely have to go back to Aliens because there's so much more to talk about. It really is.
It is a shame that we've had to fly through it, but there was so much to try and fit in. That's the problem. But yeah, we do have to go back and.
But I hope everyone's looking forward to Romulus, and yeah, I'm probably going to watch it by myself because no one will come and watch it with me. So I'm going to be that sad person sat in the cinema on my Todd, but I will watch it as soon as I can. Really looking forward to it. It's been amazing speaking to all of you tonight. It's been my first live stream in like I think it's about 16 months since I've done a live stream. So it's been quite a while. I know time flies when you're having fun. What can I say? Real life comes first. Yeah, it's been good to get back on the horse, and I wouldn't have preferred it with anyone else other than you guys. You know, part of the Retro 5, and hopefully we'll do a Retro 5 soon.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to shoot.
Okay,
well,
mate.
I'll watch you on. But I've just got stuff to do. That's all.
Yeah,
cracking. I've got an early morning tomorrow.
Has anybody else got a shoot, or is everyone all right for another 10 minutes or so?
I've got to drop off as well, Lee. I got school tomorrow.
Okay, well, I guess we might as well wrap it up then if everyone's got a shoot and that.
Well, I'm going to shoot. But
yeah.
Good night, guys.
See you later, mate.
See you later.
Right, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, the chat's been really busy. It's actually been difficult to try and keep up with because obviously there's a lot of things we've been talking about, but also trying to read everyone's comments as well. So hopefully I've touched on a good majority of it. Yeah, I'd love to see Aliens again on the big screen. Well, I say again, yeah, I would like to see it on the big screen, like Rob's saying. That would look pretty amazing. Maybe an IMAX.
Well, my thing I want to do once everything's all sorted out in the house and the game room's all done is Laserdisc Aliens on a projector in my games room. That will be like the first film I'm going to watch. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Can't wait.
10 years' time.
Yeah. I was refraining from saying that. You fucking said it.
I'm back there from holiday. Everything's all good on the right track.
This fucking games room, I tell you. That's got to be the most epic games room ever when it is finally done.
Hang on. What do you think he said more, though, Scott? Do you think he said the games room being built or going to the realm more often? Which one?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The games room far outweighs that. Yeah, no, definitely. This games room's been like 10 years in the planning.
I think Rob's got a good point there. I think you should invite us all over. Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, we want to all be there for this game room.
If you've got a big projector screen,
when it's all done, we can do a watch along with a Laserdisc Aliens because
I'm up
that's
for that.
what I want to do. That'd be cool.
One thing I'm going to say, because I've just seen this comment here, great stream, guys, awesome discussion. One thing I'm going to say, I know we've kind of like sort of jumped through it real quickly, but when you're looking at a franchise at the moment, it's 6 films.
We didn't kind of watch on Alien vs Predator.
No, we didn't go to
spin-offs. Well, I don't know if I'd really count them.
They're alien films, isn't they? They got aliens in them.
They are, but they also don't really make sense in the Alien franchise, do they?
Well, no, not really, but
because I mean, if you follow Prometheus, then they definitely don't make sense. But yeah, I mean, maybe at some point I wouldn't mind doing a stream on the Predator films.
100%.
So maybe we could bring them up in that.
Have you ever seen Predator on the big screen?
No.
Honestly,
no.
It is epic. It's the
first
best
time I saw Predator
ever seen on a big screen.
First time I saw Predator was at a mate's house, and I distinctively remember when he put it on, I was like, "Oh man, a war film! I don't want to watch a war film." I was like, I used to have to watch these all the time. And he's like, "This," and I remember him saying, "This is not like any war film you've ever seen before." And this was my mate, who was the same age as me. We was like 9, I think. And then, of course, like when you see what it turns into, it's like, my God, it's a bit like a Dusk Till Dawn moment, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know, but that's another stream. We'll wait until we do that at some point. But yeah, I've really enjoyed tonight. I've got to be honest. It's been fun. It's been good, like having Paul on the stream again as well, because like he says, it's been a long time as well, hasn't it? So, and we've been trying to do an Alien stream. Like, I mean, I remember we all tried to meet up on VHS bootleggers, and that kept like
That
kept
was
going.
ages ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Every time we went to do it, something come up or it didn't work out. And then we tried to do it as a no late free stream, and again things came up. We couldn't do it, and just so happened this one just tallied up with all of us, didn't it? So yeah. But I've enjoyed tonight. I do feel like we have kind of bounced around a bit, but like I say, when you talk about 6 films, you kind of have
I was going to say you've got a lot to fit in you? In a lot of 2-hour stream. I think though, Nerdy Geezer, is we definitely, once we've all watched Romulus, we need to do another stream.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And we'll talk about Romulus. Definitely.
Yes, definitely. We'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking actually, because that comes out, what, a week's time now?
At the weekend, isn't it? Next weekend.
Yeah, do you know what though? I've got to wait a few days because I'm working, so I can't go until a few days afterwards.
I'm going the Friday. I'll be going and watching that. Yeah,
that's what I would have liked to have done, but yeah, I'm working. Maybe like we'll try and see if we can fit it in, maybe beginning of next month or something.
Yeah,
maybe
the sooner the better. You know, we need to hit it.
Yeah, if we can do it sooner, then we will do. Yeah, you never know. We might be able to all do it in a couple of weeks' time or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely up for that because it'd be interesting to like swap a few things, like what we thought and whether it went how we wanted it to, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
Right, okay. I think we better hit the outro. Oh, here we go. Got another comment. Hang on, what's that? Fun stream, gents. Yeah, cheers, Rob. Yeah, you've been great in the comments, by the way, Rob. Like I've been reading all the comments, but Rob's come up with some really good points as well. So has James, actually.
Yeah, James Johnson. He said some really good stuff.
Yeah. It's been a really good chat. I've really enjoyed it. Right, okay. Let's find the outro and then get the hell out of here. And don't forget, if you haven't seen
Marines, we are leaving.
Yeah. Well, actually, what I was going to say is if you haven't seen Spaceballs, go and watch that because you got a little John Hurt cameo and, you know,
yeah.
What did he have? He had the special. Like, go and watch that. Right, let's get out of here. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you later.